OBS.
Good morning, you guys. How are you both doing this morning?
Can't complain. Should be a good day of bowling.
Yeah, excited for week 15 here. Lots of stuff on the docket for four great matches. Anything you guys are particularly looking forward to for this week?
Well, I get to have my ultimate conflict here between my John Cowan game worn shirt or a game worn hat and my newly minted Rock and Rollers sweater provided by 5PL and 5P Universe. So I'm certainly looking forward to that match.
Yeah, and anything for yourself there, Tim?
I just expect we're going to see a lot of good games here because we got 4 teams who are all still legitimately in the playoff hunt. So we got the Rock and Rollers, the Mayhem, who are both up near the top of the standings, the Rebels and the Venom, who are a little bit lower down, but they've only played 6 games, so they've still got half their schedule left. So anything could happen today.
Yeah, it's sort of exciting to see how some teams are coming to a close in their season and then some are coming up sort of on that halfway mark there. So lots of excitement for us. So we're just going to bring in our coaches from our first 2 matches here. Starting off with those, we do have Venom, and then we have Shane. How are both you guys doing this morning? I recognize the time change is quite different for both of you.
Yes, it's 7:30 here.
So I was like, I'm in BC right now, Rhonda. I was up at 6:30. This is great.
Right.
And Shane, you guys are almost ready for lunch, I guess, at this point. So
Yeah, it's noon, so we're ready for bowling.
Yeah, right now.
that's great. How are you guys both feeling going into today's first match and the other matches you have on the docket today?
Oh, good. I mean, we've been here for an hour. We've been warming up and getting everything ready. And yeah, it's all the matches have been like right to the 10th frame so far, all 6 of our games anyways. And so I don't expect anything different today. And it'll be exciting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, we got 4 games left. We're trying to lock up one of those top 2 seeds. So we got two big games today that we're ready for.
That's great. And what are your guys' lineups looking like for this morning?
So we have Brandon Tibbs leading off, Courtney second, Brandon Smith third, myself fourth, Brad fifth, and we have Mitchell and Katie on our bench.
Great. And Rhonda?
And we have Mike Warren, Marco Sang, Maddie Harms, Bob Herman, Jesse Bailey, myself on the bench. Aaron King is coaching YBC today, so he's not here, and Dakota is not here.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys get back to your teams there. I think Carrie's just trying to set up some of the stream stuff. We had some little technical difficulties on my end and then also on Carrie's end. So fingers crossed that should be good to go in a few minutes here. We'll give you the go-ahead once you can sort of see the screens there on your second screen. I assume you guys are also watching. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Or you can put it in the chat, hey? Yeah.
Yeah, we can let you know there as well. Of course.
Perfect.
Awesome. Best of luck to you guys.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Good luck. Thank you.
I guess Tim, JB, and I just get to chat for a couple minutes here.
Yes, just a quick,
I see it. Yeah.
a quick hello to the folks. I'm unfortunately not able to join one of our youth bowling fundraisers that's going on right now because I had signed up for this. So I hope they're raising lots of money out there to help our youth bowling folks get to nationals, I'll do my part in a few weeks coaching Youth Challenge out in Calgary.
I'll be seeing you there. I'll be taking your pictures.
Excellent.
I'm saying that in a non-creepy way. Don't worry.
No, that's quite all right. It's nothing creepy to worry about.
Well, that's good. I think Carrie's just sort of getting the final scoreboard for the Venom set up there.
Marvelous.
But they should be able to get started.
Yeah, this is really interesting now to see. We got the Rebels who are going to get a chance to catch up a bit in games played. We have lots of changes probably coming up in the standings this week and next. As a bunch of teams that had been falling behind in games are now going to be catching up, and we'll really see how many of them are at that 600 pace, how many of them are at that 500 pace. The Venom have a really good chance of making a move today.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Sure.
Sort of seeing, as you're saying earlier, Tim was saying that some of the teams are almost done their season, then the other ones have another sort of 6 games to go. So still lots of movement to be made in those standings, and sort of looking ahead to what the playoffs are going to have in store for us. So lots of excitement, and we're getting ready to go. Excited to see how Brandon bowls today after that 448.
Yes,
this
absolutely.
week.
Congratulations to Tibbs on his very, very close match. I think that would have been the second Rock and Rollers perfect game at Paradise to go along with Katie Wells' effort from not too long ago.
Yes, I watched the live stream afterwards and was really disappointed. I was like, oh, it's a great ball. Oh, never mind. I've seen that before. That sucks.
Well, and we had that just happen here not that long ago. Nick McRae at North Rustico Lanes had a similar, what I thought was a pretty good ball on the 12th. I didn't get the chance to see it live, but I saw the video after, and it looked like a good shot, very similar to all the rest. And the corner pin just stood there laughing, which, maybe one day I'll know how that feels.
Well, hopefully you don't know how that feels, because that sounds much worse than, some other things. But
the only thing that can be better than throwing a perfect game is throwing a perfect game after you've thrown a 448. And it can only be a little bit more satisfying when you finally get it.
That's very true.
So we have, the lineup is not as advertised. It looks like Smitty's bowling second and Courtney third. I thought I heard the other way around. Maybe I got that wrong in my head, but we'll see what happens here. And looks like we will not have a 75-75 start.
I got a couple of marks up for both of them early here. Nice shot by Bob.
Yeah, I think one of the big things for me was I'm in BC right now, just sort of on vacation, not on vacation really, but I was like, wow, I didn't really think about the fact that they're bowling at 7:30 and the Rock and Rollers are playing at almost lunchtime.
Yes,
and it's kind of an interesting thing. I just don't think about it.
Yeah, it has been one really nice. I mean, I'm not a morning person at the best of times, and there's a beautiful shot from Jesse there to cap off an excellent first frame for Venom, 4 strikes in an open to start. So even these matches starting a half hour earlier, it's 11:40 now for me. This is a great time for me to be involved with commentary, because it's not a particularly early morning. Most times it's a noon start, and it's there are some days where I'm actually out of bed by then, so that really makes it a lot easier for me.
Well, and usually, I mean, the normal start is 10 o'clock here in Winnipeg, and 9:30 is a little bit earlier for me, but it's not ridiculous. Until Rhonda had mentioned it about being up for 6:30 to be at the lanes for the 7:30 start. That's dedication. Like, I'm blissfully unaware most of the time that 6:30 on Sunday exists.
No, it really is a testament to everyone involved across the country. Those of us living out east, Maria remembers that from not that long ago. It's you can kind of forget that the rest of the country actually has to get up early by comparison if you want to synchronize. And I couldn't imagine having it the other way. Having grown up in Ontario and then lived here for over 15 years, I'm very happy that suits my that suits my temperament. Tibbs now with a strike to help get Rock and Rollers moving here. A little bit of a rough start for them, but as we know, Tibbs is maybe the ideal leadoff bowler in terms of getting the group going, and certainly this is a team that we've seen struggle a little bit here and there, and then all of a sudden roll 13 strikes in 15 frames, and it's like nothing ever happened. There's a reason that these Rock and Rollers are at the top of the table with a .695 winning percentage coming down the stretch. It's true that Misfits have more points right now, but Rock and Rollers are going to make up that deficit by the end of this broadcast. Very nice shot from Courtney there. Yeah. And now let's see if Venom can capitalize on their big start. Last broadcast, I had the chance to work. Marco had some difficulty hitting the middle, and I think he was out of there by about the fourth frame in the first match. So we'll see whether he's got his timing down a little bit more this time around.
For sure. But yeah, otherwise, 4 strikes in the first frame. There's a good start. Makes you wonder, again, just looking at Marco's average 209. If you're the coach, makes you wonder how long that leash is.
Yes, absolutely. I'm noticing here on the Rock and Rollers side, I'm a bit surprised by some of the scores, but again, it's relatively, there's relatively small samples. But I'm surprised to see Tibbs, after having such a monster season last year, averaging 254 in 67 frames coming into this one. Yeah. And Katie Wells averaging only 218 on the broadcast in her 49 frames. That's certainly not the kind of results we're used to seeing from her. But, it's just a good reminder that you never know what you're going to get on a Sunday from anybody. This is, it's not that hard to have a couple of bad stretches and all of a sudden the numbers look a lot worse than they really are.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're only counting those averages over, say, 60 frames in the case of the Venom, like that's not much bowling to sort of have those numbers go up or down pretty drastically. Another good spare from Matt there.
Good frame for the Rock and Rollers there. A couple strikes, couple spares. Got a couple of 30 counts in there. So what are we thinking is going to be the points percentage cut here? I mean, my thought was I'm thinking 550, 560 is probably going to be the 6th playoff spot. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I have a hard time thinking that it'll be any lower than 550.
Yeah.
Looking especially on the Cargill side right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams sitting at 578 or higher. So it's a little bit bunched up there. The 6th spot is kind of an interesting, could be somebody just reaching up to nab that 6th position. Cartage are obviously up there right now. Crushers are still within striking distance. That's the one thing that we've seen from these matches. There's a lot of 7-1s and 8-0s, so everything can change really quickly.
Yeah, and you look at sort of, say, like the Carnage, right? They only have 2 games left, and that's going to be that last week of the season. So that'll be an interesting day to watch. And I know that's the week that they play the Roses, so that could be quite. I want to say.
Yeah,
spicy.
that's true. We're really now getting to the point where we need to take into account who's playing whom, and therefore perhaps there's 2 or 3. If one competitor or if one challenger is knocking another down, then that makes it a little bit
interesting.
easier to see what's going to happen. Jesse with another
great shot.
Great shot. 2 pretty similar looking right pocket hits there to start and to help cushion the blow a little bit from Venom having a bit of a rough second frame, especially Bob counting only 20 on that strike. These are, again, the kinds of mistakes that are easily punished in this league.
Yeah. Yeah, thinking about bowling at 7:45 in the morning. I mean, I didn't mind doing that when I was in YBC and stuff, but as an adult, I don't know if that would be my ideal. Oh, there's a good shot from Mike.
Absolutely. And, 5-pin Pro League is going to be one reason to get excited about bowling at that time of the morning. I had always been an afternoon shift kind of person, but I experimented with bowling morning shifts in Timmins and Regina this past month, and I have to say I was genuinely surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I didn't mind being up that early in the morning, and certainly the nice shot from Marco there. Certainly the quicker pace at a cash tournament of bowling with, say, 6 on a pair instead of 8 or 9 coming down the stretch towards midnight on an afternoon shift. Wondering when you're going to get a chance to get out of there and get some food. What's going to be open when you're done? I have to say, maybe I'm converted. I think I might now be a morning shift person, which is not something I would have ever imagined I would say about myself. Nice count for Matthew on that spare.
Well, that's the thing about the morning shift too, and then the pace of play. Like for some people, especially if you find something early, the quick pace is a great thing. If you're struggling, quick pace is the worst thing ever.
Yeah, you feel like you're up there all the time and not ready to throw a shot. It can be pretty overwhelming, and that's also, the brain's a prediction machine. So when something goes wrong, it wants to jump up there right away and try again, and you can easily get into trapped in a loop where you just keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And if you're up there every 45 seconds to a minute and a half, instead of having to wait 2 or 3 minutes, 2 bad shots becomes 11 bad shots pretty quick. Unfortunate punch from Bob there.
Shane picks up the spare after a couple of opens.
Should
point out Shane's averaging 322 so far in Pro League.
Yeah, he seems to want to make sure that whatever's going wrong, he's not the one to blame. Of course, he probably wants to make sure that all the blame sits with Brad. Just as Brad will be pointing back to Shane on those 2 open frames to start today. 22 through seconds. Somebody wake him up. And Rock and Roller is going with what has become the unofficial 5-pin Pro League mantra. Just 4 marks a frame, 4 marks a frame, 4 marks a frame, and you'll win.
Yeah.
It's pretty tough to fall behind when you throw 4 or 5 marks every frame.
Jesse here now hoping to keep Venom going. Yeah. He's already thrown 2 really nice shots in the right pocket. That smooth. Oh, and there's another one.
Yeah.
If she just keeps doing that, I think perhaps Venom will be all right. We are pretty even going into the 4th frame. 1 double on each side to count. And as we know, we're now approaching the halfway point. The commercial break is often going to decide what happens. We'll see who comes out raring to go and who comes out flat in the 6th frame. Mike doing his part here. It's another double. Oh, and Tibbs now starting to look comfortable. When he looks like he's ready to turn around just as he lets go of the ball, then we know that he's getting comfortable. So now it's just a question of whether Rock and Rollers can put some doubles together, put some pressure on. That's a really nice shot from Smitty. Unfortunately, the 3-pin didn't play ball. Marco with another miss. And again, putting Ron in the position of maybe having to make a decision early.
Yeah, that's it. Because if you're not careful,
miss left and miss right.
Yeah, because might want to be quick here. Yeah, because if you're not careful, that second match is going to get away in a hurry now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the good news is Smitty hasn't really poured too much on yet, but a 300 pace is certainly not easy to catch up to. Good shot from Shane. Unfortunate, again, lazy 3-pin. You're going to have to go and take a look at the 3-pin rubbers on that lane in between matches.
Think about the Rock and Rollers. They sure don't waste a lot of time out there, do they?
No, and I think of all the folks who are bowling right now, I guess Courtney is maybe the most deliberate, but it's so difficult to tell. As one of the slower bowlers out on tour, I get to sort of see who are the ones who are the most deliberate, I tend to notice them a lot more. The rock and rollers folks are just get up and go. It's something that I never thought I would be able to do, but as I get more confidence in my shot, I'm starting to notice that I am, ooh, what's going on with Matthew there?
Ball.
Very uncharacteristic.
I noticed that I'm deliberate, but not as slow as I was even 3 months ago. Just some small changes. I think that in a lot of cases, players who are struggling with confidence in their shot find it a lot easier to stand there for 4 or 5 extra seconds. And it doesn't seem like much, but then when you watch someone for an hour, it's easy to notice a difference between taking 7 seconds up there and taking 12. Doesn't seem like much, but it's certainly noticeable.
Got a good shot from Bob there. Got tapped right side.
Absolutely. He's really just that second shot in the second frame is the only one to complain about. Everything else has been okay. The miss in the second frame wasn't that bad. And Jessie can put some big count on her double, then Venom will remain pretty much even with rock and rollers, maybe down 1 ball going into the 5th frame.
Right. And for the rock and rollers, of course, they've got 5 marks up there, including the double. And so with that in mind, and knowing what's could be coming, you don't want to say it, but this is getting close to, at the very least, you need a big count on this shot. You might need the strike just to keep it
this
close.
Is one of those matches that could end up 6-2 in a hurry. That one, a little light, but just enough of a push.
Yeah.
Good slider. Ham bone for Jessie. Wonderful start. And if Mike can pour one on here, then this is pretty much an even match. Threatens to be even going into the break. Courtney, of course, will have a lot to say on her first ball in 5. But yeah, these rock and rollers bowlers they're quick, they're confident, they're typically kind of relaxed. They prefer, now the left hand has come out for Tibbs, so now he's definitely getting relaxed. Not particularly demonstrative Tibbs, but when that left hand starts coming out, then you know that he's starting to really feel it. And we've seen him rattle off 5 baggers like it was nothing in 5PL over the years. Brandon with a bit of a light hit, Smitty with a good count, and Marco back in the middle but punching. And yeah, that number two match is Smitty's threatening to just sort of strangle Marco a little bit at a time until you just sort of realize suddenly you can't breathe.
Yeah, just slowly build those marks back to back to back, and then yeah.
All right, Courtney with big count on the double. And rock and rollers are threatening to walk into the break with a lead stretching to 100 pins.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, Marco's now got 78 after 5, so you really have to be thinking a substitution might be coming soon.
Absolutely. Uncharacteristic miss from Courtney on a single pin. She's not going to do that a second time. Courtney is still the only bowler I've seen who has that overly exaggerated follow through where she's quite literally patting herself on the shoulder with an open hand at the end. I remember the first time I saw that thinking, I can imagine that was a coach somewhere who told her you really, really, really have to follow through, and she took it really seriously. And that's a very interesting habit to have acquired, but it ensures that whatever mistake she makes, it's not going to be from following through. Nice shot from Brad. That gives the rock and rollers an extra long break. And 6-13 going into the break with 1 double counting. That's really closer to 700. Mitchell throwing a few more balls just in case he is needed. Mitchell's definitely the one like me who is the more deliberate one, and like me, he also likes to have a little extra time to warm up, so it can't hurt for him to be throwing some balls on the sideline. Bob not quite heavy in the pocket yet, but at least 28s to help his team along while he's waiting for the strikes to come. It does unfortunately put a little extra pressure on Jessie to keep the big shots coming while she's waiting for the middle three to get into the pocket. As it stands now, I mean, even with that great start, as we know, all it takes is one open frame at the end of a long string of strikes. And if your opponent has just been quietly putting 30s together the way Brad Glynn has been doing, your lead can be gone in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great
I'm
ball.
sure we've all had the experience of starting a game with 5 or 6 or even 7 in a row and then
There we go.
getting to barely 330 or 340 and wondering where the game went.
All right, so we're through those first 5 frames. I'm trying to read here what scores are.
Yep.
613 for Rock and Rollers, 584 for Venom. This will be interesting to see how things sort of play out in the second half here after everyone gets a little coffee break or lunch break, whatever it is you want to say.
All right, let's roll those commercials.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
Well, Marco's struggles in 5PL continue. He's with those 5 frames, he's pushed himself to 706 in 35 frames, which puts his average danger of falling below the 200 line. So it's no surprise that, as we found out during the break, that there's going to be a change in the number 2 spot as Ron is going to take over in the 6th frame. And, you know, this is not like Marco. I've had the chance to bowl with him at opens. And I've certainly seen him perform a lot better than he has in these 5PL matches. Sometimes you just don't know what is going to affect a person's performance. Just it can be random chance. It could be the early mornings. Who knows?
Oh, exactly. Big shot from Mike there to run it out to the four-bagger.
Handball for Mike.
Very
There you go.
uncharacteristic chop miss by Brandon there. He picks up all the wood.
And so now Courtney in the position of throwing the usual guaranteed strike here after a corner pin spare miss.
It's the oldest rule in bowling.
So we're expecting the automatic strike here. She didn't love her balance on that shot, so not this time. Hard to throw a strike if you fall over.
Hey, I've done it. I will say that.
I only said it was hard.
Yeah. Didn't
I've
leave
thrown
this
plenty.
year for a 5-bagger, so you know.
Oh, ball side. Let the ball do the work. Courtney making up for it with a perfect
Rhonda
pocket hit on the left side.
Yeah, Rhonda goes
And,
5 spare for the Venom.
Yes, this is the point now, really, where someone in the middle of this group needs to take their match by the neck and do something with it. Matthew, unfortunately, not now. Really, just kind of not quite on the ball. And that's one thing about Matthew's particular approach and style. He, can be streaky at times. That cuts both ways. But one thing we know for sure is that no matter what's happening, you really won't be able to tell what's going on by looking at his face. Occasionally the body language, but he just goes up there and throws the next ball. Someone needs to put a plate of chicken wings in front of him, and I'm sure he'll feel better. Brad with a very nice shot. He really has been, as much as Shane maybe would prefer not to admit it, Brad really has been the anchor in both senses for this Rock and Rollers team. We've certainly seen him nail down that last match more often than not, and he'll just reach into his bag of tricks and figure out how to stay right with Jessie as we get to watch just how far she's going to take this streak to start the match. Bob a bit quick on that shot, I think.
Yeah, he was just like he was on that ball that he missed in two. He looked a little fast on that one as well.
And they're not big misses. I mean, certainly you don't expect big misses from Bob Herman.
No.
But, he does use every part of the approach. And at least he has for the 10 or 12 years I've got the chance to see him bowl. So I'm sure he has a tendency, like many bowlers, when things are going wrong, he's just a little fast. So now it's Jessie's opportunity here to really keep, between she and Mike, to keep Venom in this match and give the middle three a chance to turn a corner and start putting up some numbers. Right now, it's a difference of about 80. Both sides are counting a double. And both sides are still counting a double. So now let's make that 35. So difference of 32 going into the seventh, both sides counting a double. And in fact, only one other spare. So this is as even as it can get. Really quite amazing how Mike and Jessie have kept Venom in this match within striking distance. But you can't count on that to continue. And all it takes is one shot like that. And all of a sudden, Venom are looking a little less sure than they were 40 seconds ago. Let's hope that the middle of the Venom lineup can put something together to help take a little bit of the weight off Mike and Jessie. I'm sure they're not particularly feeling it. I'm sure they're professionals. They just go out there and throw their shot. But you can't help feel a little bit like it's your responsibility to keep things going while they're hot as long as you possibly can.
Yeah. 'Cause even if professional or not, like over time, the psychological weight does start to bear.
Smitty with a nice kick off the sidewall there. Wondering where those were on those left corner pins. Yeah, it's amazing. You think that with the vast experience that these bowlers have at all levels of the game, professional and amateur, you would think that it wouldn't bother them. You'd think that they would be able to get past it easily. But, when these teams have been together for a few years now, this is the fourth season of the 5PL. In many cases now, you've got groups that have been bowling together in this format now for 3.5 years. There can't help but be a little bit of that really, really, really wanting to perform for your team. As Mitchell Williams is going to take over for Shane here on the second ball in the 7th. And that is one of the signs of a group becoming a team, right? When you're not just doing it for yourselves, but you're doing it for each other. And then, ironically, a little bit of that pressure comes back in. And I know you're putting it on yourself. The team is not, obviously the team is hoping that you'll save them, but they're not expecting you to. And it really falls back on the individual bowlers to remember that it's, everybody can be the savior at any time. And maybe this time it'll be me, but it's not my responsibility if I fail. I'm doing my best every time, no matter what.
Yeah.
Matthew, unfortunately, another punch in 7 as the Venom and their fans are collectively holding their breath, wondering who is going to be the first to break out. Rhonda certainly did her job with a strike in 7, and now maybe Bob can take an extra moment and throw that perfect baby hook into the right corner, into the right pocket that we're accustomed to seeing from him. A little bit of an opening now.
Bob.
There's the shot we're talking about right there. That's the Bob Herman shot that we know and love.
That's a good aggressive shot there.
Absolutely. A little bit of an opening here from Rock and Rollers sparing on both their doubles. So it might not seem like much, but this is now a chance for Venom to really mount a comeback. This is the first time that they've had 2 strikes from the middle of their lineup in the same frame since the first.
Jesse can do over.
Oh, no martini this morning.
It's a bit too early for martinis anyways.
Maybe where you are.
We have some more games to go. Yeah, where I am. Hey, I expect to see a drink in your hand then at our break.
We will see what happens. That's very unfortunate for Jesse right there. And it's sometimes you have that little bit of a letdown. You try to relax. Maybe you relax a little bit too much, and that ball comes out just the tiniest bit flat. But now Venom really needs to dig deep, start again. The bowler's mantra, simply begin again, and see if they can start to make up what is now a deficit of right around 55 pins. You've got 2 strikes and 2 spares up for Rock and Rollers, 2 strikes up for Venom. So the difference is really only about 30 more. So let's call it 65 going into the 8th frame. Mike back on it.
Right back on it.
Oh, and how often does that happen when you finally miss, you spare, and then punch on the very next ball?
Yeah.
It feels like a good shot, and you look up and see 20, and that just destroys the score in a hurry. Well, if Rhonda can throw another good ball in the pocket here, this will really lift Venom's spirits and give them a feeling of perhaps some momentum going into the latter stages of this match. There's still totals to be had there, and after how this has started, for them to maybe come back and make this 6-2 instead of 2-6, that would be a huge break for the Venom here. Another beautiful shot from Rhonda. She's certainly doing her job.
With that
and another punch for Rock and Rollers.
That second match is now getting interesting.
Absolutely. It doesn't take much. You wouldn't think that chop spare miss in 6 would be particularly significant, but now that's really provided an opening as Matthew throws his first strike since the first frame. And that's the funny thing with him, right? It looks easy every time. He makes it look so effortless, and he just, as I said earlier, he looks the same on every shot, so you can't even tell what's going on with Matthew. You can't tell if this is game 2 of a qualifying shift or the semifinals.
Oh, another good ball.
Beautiful shot from Courtney.
Great shot.
And a big lift right there.
And that's why she's the Masters singles champion.
Absolutely. Oh, Bob with a good shot, just maybe overcooked it a tiny bit. But hey, Jessie is almost certainly going to be back in the pocket, so it's a good chance for 4 strikes out of 5 for Venom. And if they can keep up that pace towards the end of this match, then they might be able to close the gap. Mitchell with a really nice shot there.
Yeah.
And now, we need to look more carefully at these individual matches. That 4th match is quite close. That 2nd match is now can be quite close if Rhonda can put a big count on that double in 9. And that 1st match is now is maybe closer than it ought to be, but certainly advantage Venom in number 1.
Yep.
And if Jessie can get back in the pocket here, then it will still be advantage Venom in number 5. So you really do not know. There's a decent shot at 6-2 on either side.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Brad very quietly, another strike. He's just slowly building a big game.
Yes, and that's really one of the marks of Brad's bowling, is that he really is very much the type to quietly put up 280s like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And yes, there are certainly, he's had huge scores. He's thrown 400s, perfect games, but he just is a level of steady that I think is the kind of thing that almost everyone wants to emulate.
Mm-hmm. So Jessie did strike back there in 8.
Yes.
Kind of a look at the ceiling as she came back off the lanes too. Maybe a little bit of frustration about the 7th frame.
Indeed. Well, as we say, 390 is a good score. Mike with a very unfortunate punch there, not quite taking full advantage of getting back on the strike and now throwing away another possibly 6 pins there. As Tibbs quietly spares his chop, and now Brandon can finish with 285. So Mike really does need these 5 here. Oh. And that makes it a lot harder now. There's a big difference between 239 and 241 going into 10 when your opponent can get to 285.
Right.
And so now Brandon can shut Mike out with 3 strikes in 10. Mike is going to need an opening for a match that seemed like he was going to walk away with as early as or as late as the 7th frame. This is really the critical ball for Venom right now. If you believe in momentum, then this ball is going to be very important. Meantime, Courtney walks away from a shot. Maybe not. Oh, just a bit light on the right side for Rhonda. Still a very big count. This spare is
critical,
almost as important as the shot before it. Meanwhile, Courtney is jumping on and taking a stranglehold in that 3rd match, and is really now the reason why the Rock and Rollers are looking to increase their lead to over 100 going into 10. Mitchell coming off the bench strong. 4 perfect shots so far for Mitchell Williams. That spare it could make all the difference. And now what are we looking at up there? We're looking at a difference of 12 going into the 10th for that number 2 match. Brad, a little heavier than he wanted to be. Happy for that to be a corner pin. Oh, and a power chop 12 from Matthew here. Just trying to do what he can to contribute to the team total.
Yeah.
But that's starting to look very much in doubt now. No push-ups for Matthew. Good work. Brad.
As soon as he let go of it, you could tell he's not happy with it.
Nope. So that makes that last match very interesting now. Brad can get to 306. Jessie can get away with 2 open frames and still get to 310. So That's a very comfortable one for the Venom in that 5th spot. Bob comes back with a big shot to help not only keep that match alive, but to help give Venom a chance to maybe pick the Rock and Rollers pocket. The hard part now is, of course, Rock and Rollers counting 2 doubles going into 10. It's very unlikely that both of them are going to punch on those in the first ball in 10. That's pretty much what it's going to take now for Venom to have a chance to pick their pocket. Are there 4 40s in there? Jessie is certainly going to make it as difficult as she can. She came into this match averaging 266 in her 45 frames, and she's certainly going to come out of this match averaging a lot closer to 280. Exactly the kind of performance you're hoping for from your anchor bowler. Oh, and that is very tough. Now Mike can probably only get to 254. Brandon really just needs to hit the side. And that's more than good enough. So Brandon already sitting at 251. And with Mike not missing that 3 pin now, Brandon doesn't even need to make this pin for a tie. And he does anyway. Oh, and just as he did in the 9th, the right 2 pin and the right 3 pin for Mike Warren. An unfortunate finish, and the first point goes to Rock and Rollers. And with the difference now being 95 pins plus this ball and the 2 doubles to Venom's 1, I really think now we're counting individual matches on the Venom side, hoping for a big shot from Rhonda here to at least make Smitty think a little bit about this shot. Oh, but he'll go first. Oh,
looked fast.
Pre-pressure. Oh, and a big count. All right, so now Rhonda can get to 241. And Brandon cannot.
Rhonda still needs the spare here.
The spare is required. But at least the spare gets her to 226. And again, when you're going up against 233, 226 is a lot. Oh, no.
Oh, just missed it.
That's really unfortunate. The first miss really for Rhonda since she came into this match.
Yeah.
So that will be 2 for Rock and Rollers. And this is the point now where they can put the team total on ice. Really just no punch. Well, there's one. The door slightly open, but Matthew is really going to have to slam through it. He cannot catch Courtney for this point, but he can make a big dent in the totals by adding 60 here. Unfortunately, another power chop, no 12 this time. Equal opportunity power chop, now 1 in each pocket in consecutive frames. And as far as the team total goes, it looks like it's all over but the crying. Now we need to hope that Bob can at least give Mitchell something to shoot at here. A punch, and Mitchell can only get to around 213. So this 4th match is by no means over, even with that double up. Mitchell just wants to hit the side or maybe miss the middle altogether. Or hit the side.
Strike.
So now Mitchell just needs to keep the ball somewhere on the lane. Don't go 3-hole. And even if you do, that's fine.
He's got a chance now to pad the stats.
Absolutely. He's been 5 for 5 on his shots coming off the bench as he threw those last 2 balls in 7. Another power chop. And it really just wasn't Venom's match. Now it's just a question of Jessie putting the finishing touches on a fantastic game. Join the highlight reel for herself with a 390. If she can get there. Mitchell is now feeling it. He's got the good slide. He's got the really the rubber arm really reaching out, and that's when you know that Mitchell's feeling good. So that will put the finishing touches on this match. There's nothing left to decide here. Jesse just needs to keep the ball in the building. And it will be 7-1 for Rock and Rollers. Very unfortunate finish in those first two. It was really a chance for Venom to steal 2 points and make this 5-3, which would have been a disappointing finish for Rock and Rollers, to be sure. Very nice finish for Mitchell.
Yeah, 133.
And now we're all
good
looking
shot
for
for
Jesse
Jesse.
to finish this off. A little bit of maybe the first time that she was a bit heavy on the right side. But I don't think the pins are going to stay up for her. I think they're in the mood to fall down. If she keeps throwing, if she throws 2 more good shots, I don't see any trouble. Congratulations to Jesse on a fine game, no matter how this one finishes.
Absolutely. It gives the team something to build on because they're going to be right back at it in match 2.
Oh, a little bit of a letdown, perhaps. Trying to stay relaxed and indeed conserve a little bit of energy to go into the next match. These last 2 shots are really more for ego and pride more than anything else. 13-39 for Rock and Rollers, and at this point, Venom can finish as high as 12-35. Call it 12-35. And one of those matches where it just seemed to be destined to be a 100 pin difference. Just seemed like Rock and Rollers were picking up 20 pins every 2 frames steadily towards the end. All right, now
All right,
we're
so we'll let our coaches back in here in a few minutes. There's Rhonda.
Yeah, this was just one of those matches where the Venoms kind of started off a little bit behind, and just as hard as they tried, they just couldn't seem to find a way to bridge that gap.
Yeah, and it's very hard to give any team in this league a head start the way that Venom did in the first 4 frames in the middle 2, 3, 4 spots. It's hard to come back from that. I know that any team in here can do it, but you don't want to give one of the best teams in the league a 4-frame head start in 3 out of 5 matches. That is definitely a recipe for disaster.
Especially when they're a good front-running team.
Well, Rhonda, we can't say you didn't do your best to try to resurrect that match. Congratulations for coming in off the bench and putting in a really good performance for yourself. Just unfortunate that the middle 3 on your side didn't quite have it early on and couldn't quite put it together.
Yeah. A little flat, but yeah. And then, I missed my corner to lose the match too. So it's been the story of my life for this year, but that's okay. Yeah, hopefully we come out a little bit stronger the next game.
Yeah. Shane, I know it felt pretty comfortable most of the way for the team totals, but then looked a little bit like sweaty palms time for the first and second match going into 10. It was kind of surprising to look up there and see those 2 matches a little bit in doubt, considering how you'd pretty much just steadily built up a lead as a team the whole way through.
Yeah, I mean, we were trying to ride out their 1 and 5. They had 2 runs going, kind of, keeping the game tight. So, trying to ride that out, but the boys pulled it through there in the end. Courtney was great in the middle of the game when we needed it. We struggled a little bit, and then of course Mitchell came in for me, and I think he ran out. So all the moves worked today for us. We'll take the win and we'll move on.
Yeah.
I am curious.
Fabulous.
Let's absolutely.
Let's talk about Jesse.
We mentioned during the broadcast that Jesse had come in with a 266 average and is now sitting in the low 280s through 55 frames. Just a wonderful performance. It's nice to really see that from anyone in this league. It's such a joy to watch someone just throw shot after shot that looked nearly identical. She was pretty much picture perfect for the first 7 of those shots.
Yeah. 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 Ever since I moved her to Anchor, she just lit her fire.
Absolutely no surprise to me at all. Shane, why did you decide to come out?
Didn't really feel it. I was going to come out a couple of frames prior, but I put 3 balls on the side of the head pin and got 3 end pins. So that's more of a sign of my ball not being great. So the first opportunity that I had the chance to miss or plug or something like that, I jumped on it. Like I say, even though I'm hitting the head pin, if you're not getting strikes, it's not like. It's not like there's any pride here to stay in the game. We got lots of great bowlers on the bench that's going to come in and pick it up. So as soon as I had an opportunity to pluck myself, I took advantage. It was a great coaching call.
I was going to say, did you tell yourself you had one more shot before that punch to come out?
No, I told myself I gave myself 3 more shots than I deserved. That was
okay.
That was a missed end pin goal that should have happened.
So maybe that wasn't so much a good coaching decision as a good coaching decision delayed. I don't know where the coach was 3 shots earlier. I should have been out of here.
Good coaching results.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, I mean, we were happy with, obviously, with a 7-1 win. We're trying to lock up one of the top 2 seeds. So, just going to keep plucking away. We got 3 games to go.
No, it certainly puts you in great position. And Venom, hope that you can turn this one around real quick and be ready for the next one. As you saw, it could easily have been 3 instead of 1. And I know that would have felt a lot different. So
100%.
Those points are out there to be taken.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. I don't know if Maria's having a little difficulty in the
I'm
background.
good. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
We hear you well. Yes.
Okay, I just can't hear you guys, so that's crazy.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Okay, all right. Well, best of luck to you guys, Rhonda, on your second match, and we'll see you again, Shane, a little bit later. So we're just going to run through our commercial, and we'll be back very shortly.
Good luck, Rhonda.
Thank you. You as well.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
All right, just did a little bit of arithmetic during the break there, and indeed, Jessie has now pulled herself up to an average of exactly 282 through 55 frames this season. Just fantastic work for her. Congratulations to her.
You talking, Jess?
Yes.
Yeah. She's my girl. Yes.
So I see we have Alex Saumur here.
Alex.
Welcome.
Bonjour.
How are you guys ready to go? How's it feeling out there this morning?
We're ready to go. It's been a long break for us, actually. It's been like 2 months since our last game. But it's been a hectic couple of weeks in bowling for us with Timmins and Regina and everything going on. So, yeah, I think everybody's ready.
That's great. And Rhonda, how any interesting words during the break for you, or just everybody ready to go?
They're all just throwing balls right now, trying to find their shots, and it's just it is what it is. That's bowling. Some days, some games you got it, some games you don't, and it can happen in the same day. Yeah.
That's right. You just have to go back to the factory and see what you can find.
Right.
All right. So yes, what are our lineups for this match? Alex, who's bowling for the Rebels?
Yes, so we are without 2 players this week, without Guillaume and Maud. So we basically only have 1 bench. The lineup will be Erica playing first, Benoit playing second, Eric playing third, Brett Mortel playing fourth, and myself playing fifth. And we have Joelle on the bench.
Okay, lovely. And Rhonda?
We are going Mike, Rhonda, Matt, Bob, Jesse, and we have Marco on the bench, and we are missing Aaron and Dakota as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good luck.
Yes. Good match. Good luck. Go get them. Maria, are we ready to roll?
Good luck, Alex.
I know Maria's been having some difficulty with the audio on her end, so I think she's just listening to us, and we're going to trust that she knows what's going on, and we will trust that she will do the right thing at the right time. So far, so good. Alex mentioned the Timmins Invitational and the Regina Classic, which both took place in February, and I really want to make a mention of Benoit Cédron, who threw a 23:39 qualifying shift to qualify 5th at the Timmins Invitational. For those of you who don't know, Timmins had a sudden explosion in pinfall this year, and the cut went from 1994 to 2171 in 1 year. So that was a big surprise for all of us who were there, and that explains why 23:39 was the number 5 qualifier and not number 1, as it probably would have been any other year.
Just some amazing bowling at both of those events for sure.
Yes, and Timmins now has become, at least for this year, felt even more like a warm-up for Regina, because we're used to the big scores and the extremely high qualifying line. The cut, as I said, in Timmins was 2171. It was 2201 in Regina, and that 2201 was about 40 pins lower than a lot of us thought it was going to be after Friday.
Absolutely. Like we always know it's going to be a high cut, and every year it seems like it's going to be higher and higher. And yeah, that was stunning that it actually wound up 2200.
Yes, and Benoit had a really consistent shift. He had a bit of a stumble at the end, bowling 213 in the last game, but he came down the stretch with nearly 1,000 triple, and his first 7 games were all between 276 and 335. So I got the chance to bowl with him in one of those shifts, and it was a pleasure to watch. And so he comes here with his baby hook and a good start. Left corner pin spare for Benoit. As I recall, the scoring system here on the Rebel side is a little bit of the predictive scoring. You can see that Benoit's showing 25 pins. This is the classic predictive scoring. I believe they count 25 on a spare and 40 on a double. So you might have to do a little bit of mental arithmetic to get a clearer picture of the actual score.
It's the sort of thing that drives coaches nuts when they're coaching.
Yes, so we'll worry more about that when it gets down to 9 and 10, and we really need to pay attention. Just keep in mind that if you see the Rebels total go down after throwing a ball, that's not a surprise. It's not a problem. Unfortunate punch for Matt. Still hasn't quite got comfortable yet. I assume he was throwing some more practice shots to try to get himself going. See if we can get the full screen back in a moment. Thanks very much, Maria. Maria now employing additional devices so that she can hear us.
I think you guys can hear me now. Finally.
And in fact, we do.
Yay.
Welcome back to the broadcast.
3 devices to get me in.
Sometimes that's how it goes. It seems odd for those of us of a certain vintage to think about needing 3 different devices to get your voice heard, but it's amazing that so many of us have that option right now. So Les Rebelles with a good start, 3 marks out of 4. An unfortunate chopped cherry for Fred Martel. Alex with a miss right, and Bob. Oh, that was a bit of a roller coaster there. It looked like a very good shot, and then aces to the right corner.
Yeah, aces would have been criminal in that shot, but
yes, I think we can all agree that there's no universe in which that was almost a head pin. So now I think all eyes will be on Jessie for good or for ill to see if she can take her comfortable start and into the second match. On the one hand, you always want to see somebody do well. On the other hand, if Jessie comes out with a 5-bagger, I wonder to what extent the rest of the group is going to wonder if it's going to be their day at all, or can we just all jump on Jessie's shoulder and she'll take us to the promised land? Who knows? But we certainly hope to see her continue this hot streak. If you missed it, she flirted with a 390 in the first game, throwing shots just like that, and I think that's the first time that her pocket hit on the right side has done anything except throw a strike.
yeah.
So a bit of a slower start for Venom, but perhaps. Well, 4 marks are 4 marks, whether they be spares or strikes, and 2 strikes over on the Rebelle side. Oh, an unfortunate miss for Jessie there. It looks like we'll have a little bit of a punchier start. Too many strikes in this game gets boring. I know the bowlers don't want to hear that, but for those of us watching, if there are too many strikes, then it's a little bit like watching top flight chess. It's really only interesting if people make mistakes. We can get the Rebelle score camera back online in a moment. As going by memory, I believe we are 75 to 73 after the first frame. Unfortunate punch for Mike. He said that's now 3 punches since the 7th frame of that first match. I know the last 2 punches were right 2-pin, then left 3-pin. Let's hope Mike can clean this one up a little bit better. Got the right side for, I think, the first time today.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, it looks like we have bigger problems over on the Rebel side. There's no score up on the monitor inside, so
The score fully disappeared for me. So
Maria can feel better about not being the only ones having some significant technical difficulties. I think we had this problem with the Rebel scoring system one time before where they needed to reboot to get things back up and running. That's one thing about these computerized scoring systems, that many of them are older like we are, and one of the consequences of that is that when something's not working, there's really not much more you can do than reboot and hope it works long enough. Oh, another beautiful shot from Rhonda there. She has looked really good since coming off the bench to try to rescue Marco's difficult start. Still a bit of a mystery how it is that Marco is struggling this much in 5PL, but again, we've watched him for years. We know that he'll be able to turn this around at some point. It's just a matter of time. Matthew's the one who we're hoping can get on a bit of a roll here and help breathe new life into the Venom for this match. They are looking to make up for their 7-1 defeat a little bit earlier in today's broadcast. Looks like now the Rebelle can at least see their score. I'm sure we will get to see it presently.
Very shortly.
And a very nice shot from Matthew right there. It's so hard. I wonder how difficult it is to coach Matthew, because it doesn't look so much different between a shot that misses and a shot that's right in the right pocket. I mean, I've watched him for a couple of years up close, and I have a hard time really discerning when he's throwing a good shot and when he isn't. All his mannerisms, everything else looks the same. You can really only tell when he walks away. Into the left pocket for Bob this time. If both pockets are going to be open for Bob Herman, then the Venom are going to be in really good shape here coming down the stretch. This is the first time that 2, 3, 4 have had strikes since the first frame of the first match.
Yeah, they're going to need to want to ride this as long as they can.
And it's especially tough for the Rebelle to be down 2 players, to have only one on the bench. You like to have a little bit more flexibility there, with mode not available, also limiting the moves that they can make. So they're just going to have to hope to really carry a good start forward. Now we have a score again on both sides. Jessie sparing her miss. Once again, 4 marks for the Venom, 3 strikes this time. Perhaps this will help them settle in and give the Rebelle a challenge here.
Nice shot.
Very nice shot from. I got a chance again to bowl with Eric Villeneuve at Timmins. I had lane draw with him, and it's just frightening to see how repeatable that motion is for him. And both pockets he seems to hit equally well, and it can just be it can almost be mesmerizing. And actually bowling behind him was a real pleasure, because he is quick and has a great personality. So I thought he would make an excellent leadoff bowler. Wouldn't surprise me to see him leading off for this team from time to time and really helping light a fire under them as well. He qualified 28th in Timmins with a 21.98, including 3 games right around 320 in his top shift. So good work for Eric. I know that Benoit was knocked out in the first round on both sides, unfortunately. I'm just looking back through the results here to see Eric won his first B-side match in Timmins, but then lost to Club Tour Women's Player of the Year Chantal Sur, 862 to 859 in the first round of the B-side.
Heck of a match.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was the second round of the B-side. So it's tough when you win your first match and then have to go up against Chantal. That can be an intimidating match. Nice to see the Rebelle come out with 3 strikes here in 2 to match Venom's 3 strikes. So close to start.
Got the double up there too, so that takes care of the extra spare on the Venom side.
Ah, yes, that's it. The double counts as 60 instead of 45. So again, don't be surprised if you see a ball thrown and the Rebels' total
score comes down.
Coming down. But the total's not going to come down as long as they keep throwing strikes. Erica with a nice left pocket hit there, and off to a really good start. Rhonda has looked extremely good since she came off the bench in the first match. And that's the first ball hitting, I think, the outside of the 3-pin.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's kind of the curse of the commentator there.
Indeed, a little bit. It's a good thing that doesn't actually exist. Benoit with another corner pin here. And he is so accurate on those single pin shots, you almost take these for granted with him. Oh, unfortunate there for Ronda not to spare that miss. That will put Venom a little bit behind the 8 ball. Well, again, we'll see if Matthew and Bob can put a second strike up, then all is forgiven, all is forgotten, and Venom might have finally found a little bit of the momentum they've been looking for outside of their 2 very good individual performances in match 1. I guess 3 very good individual performances. Just unfortunate that Ronda wasn't doing that for an entire match. It's a little bit of a good news, bad news situation when you can pull a match back coming off the bench, performing that well, but not quite drive it over the finish line. Maybe doesn't leave quite the same taste in your mouth as you deserve. Should have felt a lot better for her than perhaps it did to not quite get there. There's the first double. Matthews found his. If Bob can throw another one of those nice right pocket shots up the middle, then Venom are in business and can put some of the memories of that first match behind them.
Great shot.
Another excellent shot from Fred. And that's exactly the shot we're looking for
Bobby.
If Bob is going to find both pockets, then
look out.
I think Fred's going to be in trouble.
Good. Alex here trying to get a check frame for the Rebels. Oh, looked like a chop, and then it actually looked like that corner might want to go, and it didn't quite.
Yes. And viewers do need to keep an eye on the pins over on the Rebels side. There's a little bit of extra bouncy around there. You never know what you're going to get. Don't look away after you've thrown the shot. That was one thing that we certainly got used to in Timmins, was to not look away. Somebody had to look, because everybody would look away, look up, and there'd be another pin down, and nobody will have seen it happen. It's not quite as bouncy here as up in Timmins, but some reminders. Oh, Jesse with a little bit of the eye roll.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bit outside, and then it just slid the corner over.
Yeah.
So, good frame for both teams. Got a couple of doubles up here for the Venom. No doubles for the Rebels, but they've got 5 marks up.
Nice shot from Mike. He's just been consistent. Unfortunate that he did have those punches in 7 and 9 to lose that first match. But I mean, it's not like he has bowled poorly. We'll see if he can give himself another 4-bagger to jump onto and push this one across the finish line. Meantime, Erika is not going to make it easy on him. So we have a pretty similar start in the first spot. And Rhonda back in the pocket with a nice, just the ideal pin splash for Rhonda. I think that's when she sees her throwing a shot in her head. That's probably the shot she's throwing right there. That just nice sweeping hook into the right pocket.
And for the first time today, we've got the Venom with some multi-frame momentum going for them.
Absolutely. This really does look like they could settle in and make something happen. Matt with a really good count. A little bit thin. But again, these pins are a mile wide for Matthew Harms. Right in the middle. So if Bob can put big count up on his double, then this will be the first time that Venom can feel like they're breathing a little bit of fresh air in their match. Not that the Rebels are laying down, but this is the first time that it really feels like Venom are very well securely in it. And maybe there's a little bit of an advantage on the Venom side, looking at the scoring system for the Rebels and this, preemptive, predictive scoring that you look up there and you think maybe you're down by 2 or 3 balls when you're really even. If it's, it's a little bit like a forced savings program, right? You look in there and you realize there's actually more money in there than you thought there was. You didn't think you had that much, but it's, it's finding $20 in your jacket pocket to all of a sudden look up and hey, weren't we behind by 50? No, you weren't. It just looked like you were. Oh.
What a great ball from Fred.
It was an awesome shot by Frederick.
Yeah. And Jesse, getting away with a couple of shots there, being quite light on the right side on that spare shot, a little bit light on the left side with that strike.
Hey, but no eye roll this time.
No, indeed.
She knew it. She just ran away.
That's a good check frame for the Venom.
And a big shot there from Alex Saumur. So let's see. We know that on the Rebel side, take off 15 for each of those doubles. And I think take off 15 for each of the single strikes as well. So that is 472 right now for Rebels to 463 for Venom, and both sides counting doubles. So very much an even match through 4.
Yeah, 2 doubles and 2 strikes on each side. The only difference is that extra spare for the Venom. So essentially this match is tied.
Yes. Great shot from Mike Warren.
Great ball from Mike.
And another nice ball from Erika. That first match is going to be one of the ones to really keep an eye on. Who blinks first?
It might tell the story of this game.
Indeed. Very, very kind of the opposite of what we saw in the previous match, where the struggles were the things that were going to determine the outcome. In this case, it might well just come down to who blinks first between that first match and that fourth match. We'll see whether Fred can throw one more on top and give Bob something to think about. Rhonda again in the right pocket.
Great ball.
Out of her, it looked like out of her. She was trying to kind of run it out backwards out of her hands. It's like she knew it.
Absolutely. It's always fun when it looks like a strike out of someone else's hand.
Yeah.
And this third match as well, heating up. We'll see if Eric gets comfortable and if Matthew keeps his if his body decides to do the same thing for 7 or 8 more shots. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there it goes. Late corner. That's the Matt Harms we all know and love.
Absolutely. So now we have something we didn't see in our first match, which is both sides looking like they are gaining momentum, and perhaps the commercial break is going to be a bit of a momentum breaker for one side or the other. Venom, this is the first time they've really put strikes together today. They look like the team that we know them to be.
They're finally awake.
Yes.
Coffee's kicked in. They're ready to go.
Oh, a nice little free fall style kick off the left side from that left 3 pin for Bob Herman. Well, we have not seen 5 strikes yet from the Venom. This is by far their best chance. Jesse's now had 2 misses that hit. So if I were her, I don't think I could throw this ball with any more confidence than right now. And that is funny, right? How many of the bowlers look at what's happened in their last 2 shots and feel like I can't miss, and how many of them are like, ooh, I deserved to miss.
Push, push, push.
She can't miss. That was as good as any of the first 7 shots she made in the previous game. Everyone is back, so now we are 643, counting 4. Count them, 4 doubles for Venom going into the break. And I believe we are at 7. That should be 717, I think, for Rebels going into the commercial break.
Awesome. All right. We'll be right back.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centers across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
Welcome back, folks. So far, the Rebels are not missing their 302 average from Guillaume Séguin in this match. They're handling everything quite well on their own. On pace to shoot in the low 1400s. Venom looking like they are going to challenge 1400 themselves. So let's see them drive this one across the line. Oh, and a punch from Mike, one frame early this time. Not the four-bagger he had in the first match. But again, 124 4 frames is a pretty good pace.
Great ball for
All you can do is keep going and wait for your opponent to create an opening. And unfortunately for Mike, Erika did not provide an opening there. That's a four-bagger for her. So she has the punch in 2 and 5 strikes to get her to 177 plus 3 extra balls through 6.
Mike did pick up all the wood, which is something he did not do in the first game.
Yes, he really does seem to have. I don't know whether that's just random chance or if those 2 10 counts in the 7th and 9th frames in the first game gave him a little bit of pause and reminded him to maybe bear down just a little bit more on those 2nd and 3rd shots. With a 3-pin on that first ball from Benoit, we have a little bit of an opening.
Yeah, and actually a substitution here as Joël Chrétien comes in.
Another great ball from Rhonda, too. Oh, not quite.
Solid first ball off the bench.
Yes, we see that the Joël has come in to take over for Benoit here.
Given that he's averaging 250 so far in Pro League, it's Rebels are not going to be losing much.
No, indeed. And Benoit and Fred both have struggled a bit early in their 5PL matches. It's a relatively small sample, but they certainly haven't been able to perform at the level they're accustomed to in this competition yet. But it's a little bit like, having big average bowlers on the bench. Even if they struggle, you know that there's a lot more in there.
Ooh.
Eric with the big count, and Matt Harms here get opens in 6.
Yes, although Rhonda certainly helped keep the momentum going over on Venom's side. 2 out of the 3 spots have opened up here.
Yeah.
Now we're hoping that Bob and Jesse can keep their doubles counting and keep
Eric
them in
used
this match. Rebels are opening the door just a little bit, but only a crack.
Yeah, Eric used every inch of the lane to pick up that corner.
This time the left pocket for
Another good
Bob.
shot for Bob.
And again, when your misses are hitting the other pocket, then there's really no better situation to be in when you realize that you can throw a slightly off shot and not get punished for it at all. Bob really is now got a chance to just play with the casino's money for the rest of this match and give Venom a chance to really score big, get to 1,400 and get themselves the match win that they thought they had a chance on the first one.
Yeah,
Jesse's
once again found the groove that she was in the first game.
So this is now, look at those last 3 frames for the Venom. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic there. You're going to go pretty far with 12 strikes in 15 frames.
Oh, nice shot, Alex.
Alex goes not so fast. Puts up a triple of his own.
Yes, so once again, we're looking at that's a double on both. So that's 826 for the Rebels and 833 for the Venom going into the 7th. So we are about as close as we can get. Mike feels comfortable again.
Yeah, right back.
Really has been strike or head pin for him most of today. And Erika with one more pocket hit, not going to let up.
Which is good because she might need every one of them.
Absolutely.
The way Mike is throwing.
Every reason to believe that first match is going to come down to the 10th frame. And neither side, I mean, even a couple of punches, yes, that's painful, but all it takes is one bad shot or one unfortunate hit for Erika in this, and Mike knows that he's right behind her. Rhonda with the left pocket this time. Well, you cannot fault her for anything she's done since she came off the bench. Not just wrangling the folks, but also leading them at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, with the exception of that third frame, this game, Rhonda really hasn't put a foot down wrong the whole day so far.
Matthew hitting the outside of the left 3-pin and showing that he is not sure what happened there. It's about as demonstrative as Matthew gets after throwing a ball. And Rhonda all of a sudden really with it taking a stranglehold in that second match. So between that and Bob Herman in the 4th spot, this is the first time that the Venom have really felt like they have commanding position. Certainly not running away with it by any stretch, but there's a big difference between being close and being behind and being close and being ahead. Eric with a huge strike there to keep that third match at an advantage. Matthew still probably shaking his head back there, and another
perfect ball.
There's just that's tough. That's tough.
Absolute no doubter.
Yeah. Again, when your 2 so-called bad shots are just slight laydowns in the other pocket, there's really not a lot you can do. That's intimidating to watch. I don't care who you are. Fred's hanging with him, but it's very hard to look at 175 through 6 and feel like you are way behind.
It's psychologically really hard.
Ooh. Just maybe with a little bit of extra tension in there, a little bit too much hoping and not enough throwing the ball with confidence. It's hard when you're bowling that well and you feel like your team isn't running away with it. It still feels like every shot is so important, and it is. That's a much more relaxed delivery, but not enough. Maybe a bit of reaching.
Yeah, it looks like maybe just a little short on it.
Yeah, that's the second 20 count on a strike for Venom today. And again, the good news is, even though you see 1,013 over on your opponent's side, that is really only 968. So it remains close.
Pretty even, yeah.
This really is going to come down to the first ball in the 10th. Mike with another relaxed shot, just enough of the side. And the first light hit, I think, for Erica so far, she's been pretty much half or a little bit high in the pocket and carrying all those corners. That was the first one that looked like it was just a little bit light on the right side. Seemed like a reasonable outcome. And a big spare right there from Mike to keep the momentum going. He is now looking at finishing out at 305. And that miss all of a sudden makes it unnecessarily interesting. Erica now sitting at 263 through 8. It's not that hard to get to 306, but at the same time, there's lots of ways to not make it to 43 in 2 frames.
Absolutely. So she's certainly in the more comfortable position, but it's by no means over.
Rhonda, that looked like that might have been a little too heavy, but it hung out there just long enough. And
gets it, chops the corner down at the knees and gets the strike. And she just keeps chugging along.
Yeah, it's unnerving to call a match over in the 8th frame, but
this one pretty much is.
Benoit and Joel, it's all over but the crying. Now they're just trying to keep the total close. Matthew with a bit of a light hit on the left side. Just keep the 28s and 30s coming and hope for the best. At this point, each side are just looking at the bottom number and letting the rest take care of itself. These kinds of matches are always fun for me because it really is just about the team score at this point. The rest is not going to make that much of a difference. Certainly it matters up on the scoreboard. Rebelle would love to turn this into 7. They have a 600 winning percentage so far and are looking to take advantage of their matches in hand. But 6-2 doesn't hurt them at all.
No.
About the only thing that could disappoint them at this point would be to lose the team total or get to 5-3.
Yeah. And if you're the Venom, knowing that you're on 24 points with only 5 games to go, you're now thinking you've got to get every point possible.
No, indeed. It really does make every mistake magnified. And all you can do at this point is try to win the total and hope that you look up and see 7 up there instead of 5. Very nice shot from Jesse there. Help erase the memory of that
for the
miss.
Venom.
And so now 1138 with 2 doubles counting. They're effectively sitting at about 1175. And all of a sudden, they have really taken stranglehold on this match. Yeah. Nice shot from Alex there.
Shot for Alex.
So 15-10, that's 40. So right now, 1088 for Rebels going into the 9th. 1138 for Venom with 5 marks counting, including 2 doubles. And only the 1 double up for the Rebels going into 9. This really is the turning point. And Erica does need to throw a strike here, both to give her some breathing room and to keep the gap from getting out of hand for her team.
Ooh.
And there's a big swing right there.
Yeah.
At this point now, Mike looking at 220 through 9 to get to 265. So that's 1-0 for the Rebels so far.
Yeah. Now it makes the second position, especially Rhonda's ball, a lot more important because if she can throw another one, then the Venom kind of rests that momentum back a little bit.
And big 75 here for Joel going into the That's especially tough. That's the third 3-pin from the number 2 position in 4 frames.
4-frame span.
In a 1-game match, all you can do is shrug, but when you're looking at a 14-match season, those ones are going to hurt. Rhonda taking a little extra time to gather her thoughts and throw the same good ball she's been throwing now for the last 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, just
Unfortunately, no. So now the age-old question, did she take too long? Should she have just gone with her first instinct? Or would it have been worse?
It's certainly possible. And I know from experience, sometimes you have that thought, I've been up here an awful long time, and sometimes backing off and resetting is the right play.
Well, I mean, I've never regretted stepping back and trying again. I know that the people around me are not necessarily happy with me taking an extra 20 seconds, but I've never regretted stepping back and regrouping, whether it works or not. Big count for Eric on that double, but the way that Rebels have been stumbling a little bit down the stretch, that really did need to be a strike for them to keep that total alive. Oh, and an unfortunate miss.
It's an important miss for sure.
So slight opening from Rhonda, but hey, you can't do everything yourself. She's certainly put in a heroic effort in her game and a half so far today. Just unfortunate for Eric that he left that wide open 2 misses here in 9.
Yeah, if Matt can throw the strike here now, he has potential to make the 3rd position interesting. And he does. It's still advantage to Eric,
yes.
But
2 easy shots right there from Matthew and from Fred. Matthew just walks away before the ball is much past the arrows, and Fred with the little point. So at this point now, we are looking at 1168 for Rebels plus the count here for Alex in 9. And Venom could be staring a nice 1270 in the face here going into 10. Ooh, power chop. Not something you expect from his ball speed. You would think that with that nice moderate to high-paced ball that just wouldn't happen. Big strike there for the Rebels to try to keep themselves from giving up too much going into 10. Any punches on the first ball in 10 are going to be a huge problem for the Rebels.
A good cover.
Picks up the spare.
Yes, big spare for Bob. So now we're looking at as much as 1283 for the Venom going into 10, with maybe a double counting. A little bit of an advantage to the Rebels. Again, in light of Eric missing that corner pin spare, things look a lot different. We're not putting the blame on him, but there's a big difference in that 3rd spot between a spare and not going into 10.
Jesse gets the double to match.
That's exactly what we hoped for going into the 10th frame. More intense finish. So that is 1198 for the Rebels going into 10. And now all of a sudden they're the ones looking up at wondering how many individual matches they can squeak out here.
Oh, good ball from
Good
Mike.
shot for Mike. Of course, he's just playing for the bottom now.
Absolutely. The first match is already decided. Erika with a win here. Is trying to make it easier for the rest of her team. Beautiful shot.
And she's been rock solid all game.
And
only real mistake was that corner miss in 8.
Yes, and I mean, just the slightest imprecision on that first shot, that right corner pin could easily have been a strike. Just a tiny bit light. You can hardly call any other shot a mistake. She's thrown about as good a game as you can throw. So now we're looking at an interesting finish in the 3rd position with Eric's magic number is 307, so 25 and 10 would give the Rebels a point in the third spot. And Bob has already sewn up that fourth position, so it is at the moment 2-1 Rebels, or sorry, 2-1 Venom. And as we've said before here, the Rebels are not out of the team total, but they have been handed their hat. It's going to be a very big comeback for the Rebels to try to take this team total away from Venom.
Ooh.
Oh, a punch for Rhonda. Not much pain there. Everybody repeat after me. Good place for it. Match is out of reach. There's not a lot more she could have done. Yes, it's unfortunate. It would have been nice to have 30 more, but the bottom looks like they're going to take care of that.
Couple sticks. Oh.
Unfortunate for Joel, not able to really take advantage of the chance to make up some extra. That's where you really need to make up 30 for the team. And so now it's just Venom can just walk this one across the finish line. After the tense finish they had in their first match, making it difficult for them to get back into it. It'll be nice for them to be able to just, everybody just throw your shot. We're fine. We've got it. Just
This must feel
relax and let it happen.
Yeah, and they still have their whole day to go after this.
Big shot there. Yeah. Remember, 25 is the magic number for Eric, so 10 more to sew this one up. I don't think Eric is the type to worry about this. Even a punch, you just need 5. So you can just throw your normal shot here. No need to chisel. No need to try to hit thin. And there it is, 307. Now for Eric in the third position. So that one is sewn up. Oh, wait, am I miscounting? No, their scoring system is. Interesting. Okay, not to the ball then. Yes. All right, 312.
There we go. Yeah.
So now we are 2-2 going down to the last match where Alex can get to 339. And Jess can get to 310. So that's definitely the match where a punch in 10 could be the decider. A punch in 10 for Alex would mean that Jess does not need the first strike to pick his pocket. And as far as totals are concerned, that is 1331 right now on the right side, so it's not sewn up. It's close, but it's not sewn up. So now that should be 1346
with that
on the
strike
right
by
side.
Bob. With that strike by Bob, it's not mathematically done, but it's
now it's
done.
now it's very close. Yes, it really will take a Herculean effort at this point. Oh, now even it's done. Even before he threw that ball. Yeah, that first strike was really the big one. Well, we thought we were going to see a 400 in the first match.
Well,
and we're one ball away right now. But this is a big strike here for Alex. He put a little bit of a thought in Jesse's head with a shot just like that.
Yeah.
Absolute no doubter.
Well, we get to say it again. 390 is a good game.
Never
Could
known
worse.
390 to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
All right. So with the totals now decided, now we look at the last match again. Alex can get to 339. 311 is the magic number. So 62. Okay. And now we get into some interesting possibilities. How about pop the head pin for 7 and win by 1?
Ooh.
Pop the head pin and lose by 1. Pitch left and lose by 1, potentially. Just got to take one full shot at this.
Oh,
side.
Pitch right.
That is not what we saw coming. Okay.
That was...
All right.
Well, when your maximum is enough to win by 6, there's a few ways that you can get lucky. Get on the side. Oh, and a nice kick off the side wall. This is the shot here now.
Chop to win.
With this ball speed, I wouldn't be worried too much about 9 for the tie. With Alex up there shooting, I'd be expecting it. But just hit the side. Oh, what a fantastic job by Venom.
All right.
Certainly 7-1 feels a lot better than 6-2, but remember, 6-2 is 75%. At this point, any team is happy to score 6 in a match. And by the way, 15-23 to 14-81.
That's great. Yeah.
Absolute massive scores. I don't know if I'd actually seen a 3,000 live in any of these matches I've done so far this year, so that was a treat.
That was just, a great game start to finish.
All right, so wait for our coaches to show up here.
Yeah, so Venom came into today with a 479 winning percentage. That really goes a long way to help them inch closer to the 500 mark and still be within striking distance. They're not nearly as far back as it looks in the standings. I know it looks like they're in 11th, but they really aren't. Great work, fantastic bowling. What a marked difference from the first match to the second match for the Venom. I'm really glad to see them come back and put that performance together.
300 points improvement.
Can't ask for much more than that. Yep.
Yeah, so Rhonda, that's must be a great way to finish the day. 300 points up from the first game. A really well bowled game. 6 points in the win.
Yes, and just shy of what we've been doing, like 5-3, 6-2. Today we did 6-1. We need to win, I think, 2 games in one weekend to kind of get us up into that mix, but we keep kind of hanging on there. So
we have a guest appearance today.
MJ.
Hi, Rhonda.
Hi.
Today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, Alex, 1480 usually looks really good. Just unfortunate that it wasn't quite enough. Those three pins coming down the stretch really did end up being the difference. Just unfortunate that they happened at a moment where you really did not have any room to make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, overall, we played a good game. They just played better, and that's what it is. It happens, and we just move on.
Absolutely. We like to say that it feels better to be beaten than to lose. So I'll ask you, does it feel better to be beaten than to lose?
None of those two feel good, but it is what it is.
That's pretty much the answer I expected.
It's just the thing that happens.
It might feel better tomorrow, but right now, no.
Happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they just played great. I mean, what else can we do? We played our game,
Absolutely.
we tried our best, and that's what it is. So.
Well, and if you have to lose with 1480, at least you have another match today to try to capitalize on that really good start. If you do that again, I think I like your chances.
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for, basically. If we just play the same game again, and we'll see what happens next.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great bowling today, Rhonda. Great second game for you guys. And
Yes,
Alex, we'll see
thank
you
you.
again shortly here after our next match.
Yes. Thanks very much for a fantastic showing out there. It was really fun
Yeah.
to watch.
Thank
Good
you.
watch.
Good luck in the next game, Alex.
All right. We'll see you guys shortly.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
And again, with
We're
that
back.
performance, Bob Herman moves himself up to averaging 284.2, shooting 15.06 for 53 frames. Just fantastic work for
Wow.
him in a great game.
That's great. Well, we move into our third match. I guess we're halfway through the morning. That's pretty exciting. Lots of great games already. And we'll see what the afternoon has in store. So just chat to our coaches here. Hello, gentlemen. Hello again, Shane.
Hey, how's it going?
Not too bad. How are you, John?
Doing all right.
How are you guys feeling this morning? Ready to go? You know, the Rock and Rollers have already got one game under their belt so far this morning. How's your team feeling?
Yeah, no, we're feeling okay. The Storm Strikers are also bowling next door to us, so it gave us something to watch on our break. So we're ready to get back into it and get a big match here now.
That's great. And John, how you guys?
I mean, it's a chaotic Sunday at Neb, so we're trying to get lost in the public storm that's going on here, but we're ready to go.
Let's say hopefully no birthday parties right next to you guys.
I think we've got about 15 lanes of buffer until the next birthday
Okay,
party.
okay,
Yeah.
good. No children are going to run onto the lane mid-shot or anything crazy.
Wouldn't be the first time.
All right,
What do you
and
think, you two? You got 3,000 in you?
I don't know.
I mean, I
maybe.
hope I'm on the bench, so like,
You just want good
Another good coaching decision from Shane
See?
Chafe.
that's right.
And what are you guys' lineups looking like for these matches, Shane?
Yeah, so it's the same lineup we finished last game with. So it'll be Tibbs, Smitty, Courtney, and then Mitchell and Brad, myself and Katie will be on the bench. Sorry, that's Tibbs, Courtney, Smitty, I believe it is. One of the two, I can't remember. Whatever we finished up,
We'll see soon enough.
we'll see soon enough.
Yeah. And then John, what about you guys?
So for us, we got myself leading off, Jeff England second, Linda third, Nathan fourth, and Matt playing anchor. We have Connie and Davin on the bench and no Ian today.
Great. All right. Well, best of luck to you guys this morning, and we'll get started.
Luck, John.
All right, go get him. So unfortunate that we did not see any of the Newfoundland Labrador contingent out in Timmins and Regina this year. We certainly missed them. But Nathan had himself a pretty decent tournament in Timmins. I'm sure I hope he's still riding a little bit of that high going into today's match.
Absolutely. And then Matt had a very good weekend in Regina the next week.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, if they can ride that high, then the Mayhem will be in a good spot, and we should be in for a great match.
All right. John took a moment to correct me, apparently, in one of the last time I was on the broadcast. I made a comment about how relaxed and no-brainer one of his shots was, that his reaction made him look like he knew exactly where that ball was going. And he told me afterwards, I had absolutely no idea where that shot was going, and I can't believe it was a strike. So I don't know if that's a little bit of John's false modesty, but it is actually one thing that really has developed in John's game over the last couple of years, that although he really is still there's quite a furnace burning inside, it's not as easy to tell from the outside how John's bowling. He seems to have at least got the outward expression of that a little bit more under control, and I'm sure it makes him significantly more consistent on the lanes. All right, bit of a tough start for Tibbs, but Smitty restores order with a quick strike. And so it'll be nice to see Mitchell in the starting lineup and to see how if he can continue his performance off the bench in Rock and Roller's first match of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Like 133 for 3 frames is it's not quite perfect, but it's darn close.
That is an absolutely Bob Herman-like pace.
Courtney's punched here as well, so bit of an opening for the Mayhem to get a bit of a jump on this match.
You can tell that Nebs is busy from the slight pixelation on the feed right now. Unsurprising given how big that place is, and apparently they have just outfitted themselves with all new tablets at the lanes for the scoring system. They've just upgraded to now mobile ordering of food. So Nebs continues to set the standard for integrating technology into operations, and while not allowing the bowling to become a secondary consideration up and down the lanes. Well, punch or strike so far for Rock and Rollers. 3 strikes to start, all 75 pins. Meanwhile, a couple of opens to start for Mayhem, just getting just getting themselves a little bit more warmed up. Nathan had himself a flirtation with a 435 late in his run in Timmins. That was an enjoyable performance to watch. I made the mistake, however, of leaving Golden Mile a little early. I was getting a little tired on playoff Sunday, and so I was stupid enough to walk out 10 minutes before Mark Johnstone decided to shoot an 11:41 triple. And I found out about it the way I'm sure some people did, which was looking at the Facebook feed and seeing perfect game attempt number 2 and wondering what the hell was going on.
I will admit I was also really confused. I went out and saw Mark Johnstone perfect game attempt, and then 10 minutes later went back on and was like, what do you mean part 2?
Right.
Very, very confused. And then I realized just what was happening.
Yes.
It was pretty crazy to watch. I can't imagine how it would have been to be in the building watching that there.
Well, and let alone wondering whether he was even going to have the wrist strength to throw a ball that weekend, seeing him loaded up with KT tape on his bowling arm. It's this is the stuff of legend. This is really the kind of performance that is not only really impressive and fun to watch, but it's great to see out of someone who is such a fixture and giant in our sport. Yeah. In trying to explain to a non-bowler what that's like, the easiest thing is to say, we watched this dude on TV 20 years ago, and he went out there like he hadn't aged a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something else. As I commented on my own social media, I said I've been privileged to watch a lot of great bowling over the years, but Johnstone may have had the best 25-30 minutes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spectacular. Perfect.
I'm guessing we have Gino Zebarth on line 1, but we'll deal with him later. Meantime, Rock and Rollers just cruising along, and Mayhem waking up and throwing 3 strikes on the board. And now that's 4 in a row. Nathan can complete the cycle here, and it looks like we've got ourselves quite a match coming. I was joking when I asked whether they had 3,000 in them, but I think they just might.
And
nobody expects 3,000 twice in a row.
And truthfully, I think we'd settle for 2,800.
Ooh, that's a nice ball from Mitchell, and I'm not sure anybody can explain why that corner pin's still up. Nathan with just another relaxed, again, that little baby hook that goes right into the right pocket. It's just so mechanically sound between him and Matt Houston, and the just ridiculously smooth release. This Mayhem group is a lot of fun just to watch. I mean, they're fun to watch even when they're not bowling particularly well. Just they're such a good representation of what it takes to bowl well, what good sound physical bowling looks like. I mean, the only one we're missing at this point is Ian McLean, who just, raises it to an art form.
Yeah. And Matt gets tapped on what looked like a good shot on the second ball.
And Brad is a little concerned when you see the chicken wing come out after a shot, but that's his version of throwing his shoulder at it. Already missed one corner pin unexpectedly, but right on it this time. And with the exception of Mitchell's not particularly good second shot, right now looking very solid on Rock and Roller side so far. Really only 2 shots that looked, one imprecise and one, let's face it, was not good. Mitchell will be the first to tell you. Ooh.
Hit pin there for John. Let's see if Tibbs can pick up the spare. He does.
Very easy shot there. And now we have a nice... Neither side going off crazy yet, but certainly we can see that coming, and looks like we're going to have this is a little bit more like the 2 heavyweights feeling each other out for the first couple of rounds of the fight. Looks like it will be close after 3. Once again, the dreaded punch on the spare after missing. You feel good about that second shot, and then the one after the spare is just maybe a little bit tighter, a little bit tenser. And that 20 count is always disappointing, a little punch in the gut.
Ooh.
Another punch from Jeff here. So now all of a sudden, momentum killer on both sides. It looked like they might go off. It's been a while since we've seen a strike. Courtney with a little bit of extra fingers on that shot. Glad to have it.
Yeah, because it did seem to be a little bit high on the head pin.
Yes, that really did look like a punch becoming aces.
Yeah.
Oh, and another corner pin miss from Courtney. I believe that's her second today.
Yeah, you don't see that very often from Court.
One on each side. Close, but again, we're so accustomed to. Oh, there we go.
Just the wind.
I think she's just very slightly miscalibrated. That's all.
Yeah.
Somebody tell her to move 1.2 millimeters left on the next one.
Yeah. Oh, good shot from Linda.
Beautiful shot from
Great
Linda.
shot.
Linda and Rhonda with similar lines, similar shots, and just the perfect ball speed when they are in the pocket. Not a lot can go wrong. What pool players would call pocket speed, just enough to get there. And that's all it takes. You know, I know that hard throwers have dominated this game for a long time, and they get away with a lot. I really get the feeling like the game is changing. I don't know how much of it is intentional and how much of it is accidental, but the ultra hard throwers are finding it harder to score than they were even 5 years ago. From coast to coast, I'm seeing a lot more of the medium and medium high speed bowlers getting an advantage with strike rates. I don't know if the numbers actually bear that out, if that's just wishful thinking on my side, but it does really seem like that's what I've seen over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. That seems to match what I'm seeing here in Manitoba.
And that's a nice shot from Brad there. I see. You don't have to spare it if you don't leave it up. You can't miss the spare that way.
As I like to say, can't pick them, don't leave them.
That's right.
I like that logic.
Mitchell's looking to get back into the pocket, although really hard to fault either of Mitchell's shots on those left corners. Those did look like maybe those were lazy 3 pins. I know we've struggled a little bit here with particularly bouncy rubbers that do not seem to be settling down, and a lot of the medium and medium slow bowlers are really having a hard time with balls jumping the corners. It's been awfully frustrating for them, and I can understand. I throw barely hard enough that with a hard surface ball, I seem to be carrying those corner pins, but there's even for me, there's still an awful lot of balls that are hitting the front of the corner pin instead of the side. And it's unnerving, and it's especially difficult to watch folks who are good bowlers who are throwing 180 and 200 games that really deserved 7 or 8 strikes. And, you know, it's hard for them. It's up to them to take advantage of the situation and, you know, become mentally tougher. But at the same time, when it's a grind every week, I don't fault them at all for maybe running out of steam and just rolling your eyes and saying, oh, another corner pin. Oh, another corner pin. Meantime here, again, neither side taking real control. It's certainly close through 3.5 frames. Linda with a double can help give Mayhem a bit of a cushion here. Jeff hasn't quite found his comfort zone yet.
But it's certainly not the scintillating start that we were hoping for.
No, indeed. And this is a good example of, you know, of just how thin the margins are between bowling well and scoring well. Because it's not like these sides are missing. Oh, and a nice little break there for Courtney. Again, guaranteed strike. So that means we got to have one here for Mitchell. But, you know, it's it's important to remember the difference between bowling well and scoring well. And especially at this level, it's not that hard to bowl well and look up and be back. The level of scoring is just so high here. It's all you can do is throw the ball and let the pins do their work.
Another left. And maybe the bowling gods have decided that he's not getting a strike until he picks one of these.
I suppose so. Again, good thing they don't exist, but whatever helps you. If the universe wants you to learn a lesson, it will find a way to keep giving you chances to learn. This time,
right,
He's learned his lesson.
right on it.
This time, a relatively solid shot. Just that little mental boost that sometimes you need. It can be such a fragile thing, the ego. You never know. You can feel like it's the stories we tell ourselves that get us into trouble much more than what's actually happening out there. Brad taking a little bit of extra time, and again, maybe a little bit too much. He wasn't quite comfortable. I know I'm the type to want to take a little bit of extra time to really feel like I'm comfortable. And one of the things that occasionally happens is I realize that I'm going through the checklist in my mind without actually listening to the things that I'm trying to do. You know, it's the difference between trying to do it and doing it, trying to relax and relaxing, trying to feel the ball and feeling the ball. Such a fine line, and it's the kind of thing that it's what makes bowling possible. If it weren't for those little differences, this game would be easy. We would all be bored and nobody would be watching. The bowlers keep insisting I'm wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
No, I agree with that. I'll be honest.
If they were all
Bowlers think
1800 to 1800, yeah,
People think I'm crazy when I'm like, if you throw strikes all the time, it's not exciting.
absolutely.
Like, it is exciting, but it's not interesting.
Yes, the 1141 triple for Johnstone is only exciting because it doesn't happen.
Yes, that is exactly the logic.
Well, meantime, a little bit of a sloppy frame here. A couple of misses. An unfortunate miss on the second ball for Linda. And all of a sudden, we've gone from... I'm not sure if this is heavyweights feeling each other out anymore. Or this is just a little bit more like a couple of boxers who are tired and trying to grind their way through it.
It's probably a little bit of both, to be honest. The fact that it's still close means that, it's really going to come down to who comes out of the commercial break hot.
Yes, I know we were looking at the last match and wondering if the commercial break was going to break the momentum for either side, and it seemed to do nothing of the sort. This might be a good opportunity to just get to the end of this frame, take a deep breath, look at each other, try to figure out who is going to lead the way coming out of the break, and then let them to it. Tibbs with a miss after the chopped cherry. And again, he's another one that just, you can't really tell what's going on with him. He just sort of walks off like nothing has happened. So it's hard to know what's really going on inside there. He'll tell you if you ask him, but you can't judge by looking at him.
Ooh,
Another punch for Smitty.
And
I see some
Oh,
balls
coach is gone. He's pointed to himself.
Coach is calling his own
Coaching
number.
decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, we have had this conversation with Shane in the past. He does want to err on the side of caution and not call his own number too early.
Yeah.
So he does have a tendency to wait an extra shot or two before putting himself in there.
Yeah.
And yet, 2 ideal shots to warm up. Give
Warm
himself
up
a
just
chance
to-
to.
Cool down over the break again, and then hopefully warm back up.
Yes, indeed. Well, he's not yet at the age where that's a problem for him. Ask him again in 10 years.
Maybe even 5.
I wasn't going to be the one to say. I wanted to be charitable. Courtney with a perfect left pocket shot there.
That's a very
Linda
helpful
with
double.
a very nice pocket shot to make that spare. The number of times I've seen people spare that 3-pin with the ball, and you just know that that's I mean, that's definitely a good news, bad news situation. That was a strike.
Oh, right corner this time. Now for
Yep.
something completely different.
Mitchell with a little bit of a little bit of extra hip movement there, a little bit of just kind of throw the ball out. Maybe trying a little too hard to carry those corner pins when you just throw the same ball and the 3 pins at a different spot.
Nathan with another miss, but picks up the spare.
Yep. And again, with the universal hand signal for that's what I meant on the first ball. And now we're looking at more or less an even match going into the break. Rock and Rollers with a double counting. And so they have 4 bonus balls.
Ooh.
Mayhem will also have an extra bonus ball going in. We have a rogue ball over on Rock and Roller side. And here we thought it was going to be Nebs with the kids running down the lane.
No, it's in Newfoundland.
There you go. It's good bench work out there. Thanks, Katie. And a very nice shot there. Mitchell wondering why he's not getting those breaks. And now we're going into the break with a slight advantage to Rock and Rollers, but I don't think 2 groups could have wanted a commercial break more than these 2 right now.
It's true. All right, we're right back.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
Welcome back, folks. Now we get to answer the age-old question, who benefited more from the break?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see now. It'd be nice if both teams sort of came out swinging in the second half. It always makes it exciting then for those last 5 frames.
Yep. If it can't be exciting, let it at least be tense. That's good viewing. Oh, and there's a nice kick right there.
Great.
And hard to tell from those frames, but that seems like a fairly typical
corner.
John Cowan result. Throws a beautiful shot, leaves up a corner pin, and wonders how it happened.
And covers that nicely. Great.
He really does seem to fall into just these stretches where it's like that. And of course, he's as shocked as anybody because you know that in the other universe, that's his 6th straight strike, and it's just easy. All right.
Another right corner for the Mayhem.
While we have a moment, I know we talked a little bit about Benoit Saint Laurent, his huge 23-39 at Timmins a few weeks ago. Now's a good time, even though he's not here, to shout out to Ian McLean, who came out firing in one of his qualifying shifts, shot well over 1250 for the first 4 on the way to a 2352, qualifying 4th at the Timmins Invitational. Nathan ended up shooting 2276 to finish 14th. Matt Houston finished 21st with 2235, and John Cowan 2229 to finish 22nd. So not surprising to see the Timmins Invitational leaderboard littered with mayhem. It was, again, unfortunate not to see quite the breadth of folks traveling to Timmins that maybe we would have liked to see, but it was actually quite interesting to see the big difference between the group of people who were in Timmins and the group who were in Regina. There wasn't a huge overlap between the two, so it was like seeing absolutely everyone in Ontario and Quebec in one place, and then absolutely everyone out west in the other, with not a lot of overlap. What we have seen, though, is in spite of the fact that Timmins tried to keep them there a lot longer than they expected, had a chance to hang out with Walt Brooks and Colby DeAntonis during our collective bonus days in Timmins. And it really does seem like we're going to see a bigger contingent of these Maryland bowlers coming up for even more club tour events in the next few years. So that's really nice to see. That it's a testament to how the cash tournament circuit is working these days with the 3 big tours, that they are able to attract and retain people who really do need to come quite a long way. When you have Americans happy to come to Timmins in February, you know you've got something.
Yeah, we have quantity now for Nathan.
And so meantime, 3 spares coming out of the break for Mayhem. 2 punches, make that 3 for Rock and Rollers. I guess we're going to get the tense finish, if not the splashy finish. So let's buckle in. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, certainly interesting.
At Houston, though, with the double to get a little bit of more momentum for Mayhem.
Well, and that's the funny thing with both of these teams, right? You know that they are so close to just going off, and that's actually what makes this exciting in its own right, because there's a very good chance that one of these teams, if not both, are just suddenly going to throw 9 strikes out of 10 frames, and all you have to do is let it happen.
Yeah, the only question then becomes is who does it first?
Yeah.
Right. Another cut through on the right side for John. I don't know if it's time for a ball change. I don't know whether he's already done that. All right, well, 2 doubles. Now let's see if the we can come back from these 3 punches, get back in the pocket, and maybe Rock and Rollers are the ones who are going to put the pedal to the metal first. Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Good shot.
Trying for rock and rollers. Be clear that my loyalties are somewhat divided here, but when forced to choose, there's only one of these two teams I can support. And sorry, John, it's not yours.
Yeah, I'm just cheering for good bowling.
Oh, another punch. Mitchell. Now, rock and rollers have already made one change. And clearly, it's not that Mitchell's bowling poorly. He's just a little imprecise right now. And missing those corner pin spares hasn't
Oh,
helped.
good shot for Linda.
Mayhem not going away.
We've now got the Mayhem putting a few frames together.
Yeah. And I believe, yes, I saw Connie Ward taking over for Nathan here in the fourth spot.
Ooh.
Cut through on the left side.
Mitchell picks up all the wood on his head pin just like he did in 6.
Yeah, and that's, one advantage right now if you're in the rock and rollers chair. If you're making the decisions, that number 4 spot. Mitchell's bowling well. He's just not scoring well right now. He's just the tiniest bit off, but he's not out of it, so there's no need to make a move.
Yeah.
I wonder though, seeing your opponent make a move, do you feel a little extra pressure to decide that you need to make one yourself?
It's certainly a consideration. There's no doubt about that.
And especially when you look over and see Connie Ward as the person coming in, you got to be shaking in your boots a little bit. Unfortunate miss from Matt there. Quite a big miss from Matt, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
And at this stage now, we're looking at an advantage of about 2 balls for rock and rollers. Especially now that corner pin. Yeah, there you go. Thanks very much. Especially now that corner pin did Matt the courtesy of falling down. So we're going into 8 now. Rock and rollers with 2 doubles counting and a third strike. And that gives them an advantage of maybe 2-3 balls going into the 8th.
Yeah, so they're down about a ball in score, but up a couple balls in count.
And offsetting.
Yeah,
Haha, my punch was worth more than yours.
Well, on the scoreboard, but kind of momentum-wise, it's a little bit worse being on the double.
Yep, and John walked directly off, knowing that was it for him. So Davin Florent will take over for John here on ball 2 of the 8th frame. Well, get the maximum 75. Well, the reasonable maximum 75. If Brandon here can, Shane. Sorry, Shane. If Shane here can put a strike on top and restore order, then I think this gives rock and rollers a good chance to,
oh my,
walk over the finish line. And now it got interestinger still. We are going to have that tense finish, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be surprised.
Yeah, don't know if it was interesting in the way we were expecting, but interesting nonetheless.
Well, again, if it can't be pretty, it at least needs to be tense.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've been talking about. I know we'd been talking about 3,000 earlier, but 2,500. Anyone?
I don't like their chances.
Ooh, yeah.
It will be interesting to see, though, whether this really just comes down to the end or if one team will find a way to pull away.
Ooh, tough break for quarantine.
Well
done.
I'm not sure how many people had 4 punches out of 5 on their bingo card.
I think we're jinxing things now.
That really does seem like, okay, there's, again, it reminds you of the fine line between bowling well and scoring well. Oh, now we're popping 3 pins. This is getting out of hand.
I mean, the one saving grace for the Rock and Rollers is they are picking up their wood on the head pins.
Yes. And another well, that's 2 ball side 3-pin spares in that spot this match.
Yeah. We've all been
So it could be worse. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. It was Linda who had the other ball side 3-pin spare. Mitchell with yet another punch.
Oh my goodness.
And yet the match is not out of reach. And another slight miss to the right from Matt. When you see that arm come down through the shot, it just doesn't seem possible that he's going to miss. But I guess it really is maybe a little bit of a shoulder thing, maybe just a little bit of a foot speed thing. He's so smooth, sometimes you can't tell when his coordination's very slightly off. I mean, it doesn't happen that often either, so you don't have a lot of examples to draw on, but... So now we are looking at a significant advantage to Mayhem. Did not expect to say that. 2 doubles counting, 2 more spares. I mean, this really does fall very clearly in the category of it could have been worse. Rock and Rollers running into some tough luck at exactly the wrong time. A power chop from Brad, relatively unusual for him. At least no cherry.
Yeah, picks up the spare to stop the bleeding.
And so now we're looking at really an advantage of 75 for Mayhem going into the 9th. Yeah. Maybe 90. Oh my. Someone tell them they don't have to throw it there.
Could miss the middle.
I mean, that's almost preferable, but...
No, yeah, at this point, yeah.
But again, no, it's so funny. Again, this is the stories we tell ourselves that get us into trouble. This is just a coincidence. This is just random chance. It doesn't mean anything, but it feels so different when it's happening to you. And all of a sudden, that number 1 match is pretty much like nothing happened. We have a 251 max for Tibbs. And John can get to 259.
It's funny how sometimes... I was going to say, it's funny sometimes how head pins can kind of beget head pins, because then you start pressing a bit. And
yeah.
Well, exactly. Those are the stories you're telling yourself, and you can't come at this from the standpoint of, I have to do this, I need this shot. I mean, even when you're mathematically going to lose without it, you don't need that shot. You still get to walk out of the bowling center either way. Oh!
Ooh.
That was ill-advised. And so now all of a sudden, 223. Yes, 223 in that second spot. Jeff, I mean, there's an awful lot of ways to get to 12, so don't look away from that second match. Courtney restoring order.
Courtney back on it, yeah.
But maybe a little bit too little too late. Now 265 max for Courtney in the 3 spot.
Yeah, unfortunately,
but Linda can put that away. Yeah. I mean, if Linda does not punch on ball 1, she's in good shape to push that match over the finish line.
Yeah, unfortunately for Courtney, those head pins in the even frames.
Exactly. They just need to come all at the same time.
And we have Katie now for Mitchell.
Over now. Yeah. And can get that match. So the number 4 match, you get to 238. Whereas Connie can get to 248. So there's again some tense finishes here. Sometimes with matches like this, you look up and all of a sudden a bunch of the matches are decided because you have big scores on one side that just don't match up with the big scores on the other. But that's not what we have here. There's really only one match that looks decided by now, and the rest are all up in the air. And this is the 3rd consecutive miss right for Matt. Almost exactly the same shot 3 times.
Yeah.
Brad restoring some order. So now we have Courtney, Katie, and Brad striking to try to give the team some momentum going into the 10th. You've got, and again, barely. I mean, those shots cannot make Matt feel very good right now. It's just he's got one little change. Is all it's going to take. A little bit of extra roll.
Just looks like he's fighting it a little bit right now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks tense, and he's someone who I really picture as such a relaxed individual that we wouldn't expect tension to bother him. So Gavin now can push this across the finish line. No.
Oh my.
No. 209. So that's 1-0 Rock and Rollers. Yeah. Since they're not way at the far right end, I don't like Davin's chances to despair here. If this were lane 52, I wouldn't turn my back.
Oh no, here's a big chance for Brandon to get some of the deficit at the bottom.
Oh, absolutely. This is a huge chance to get 30 pins back for his team. Nope.
Not quite.
Wow. All right. So a win's a win, but boy, it really feels different to win that only by a couple dozen. 228 to 206 for the first win for Rock and Rollers. This second one looks like, I mean, like I said, there are lots of ways to get to 12, but I like Jeff's chances to get to 13 and sew this one up. Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait.
Makes it a little bit more interesting.
Oh, wait. Now, we know Jeff has to punch this 5-pin for maximum tension. Because if he takes out the right 2-3, that's, he's almost certainly going to get to 15. But nope. 1-1. And good thing, because Shane not really helping his team's cause right here. That's tough between the missed corner pin and that miss right there. Putting an awful lot on Courtney and Katie's shoulders right now. There's a nice shot to help alleviate a little bit some of the burden for the rest of the Mayhem. This is a pivotal shot for Linda here, especially after that strike from Courtney. This is a big one right here. Oh no!
Yeah, looked like she just laid it down a little bit.
Yeah, just at a time when you want to throw the shot to give your team a chance to breathe. There we go. Rock and Rollers just saw the punch. So those two shots right there might be the momentum swing of this match. Courtney, of course, is no stranger to throwing the pressure shot in the pressure moment. We all remember where we were when she threw the shot. I have to dig that clip out every year to watch it 13 or 14 times in a row just to remind myself how exciting that finish was. And there it is.
There you go.
All the way back, brought it all the way back to get to 265 to 259. That is picking your opponent's pocket right there. Just an unfortunate bit of timing for Linda. It was not that bad a shot. It was just in the worst possible spot.
And now it's a 1-point difference for total.
Oh. Katie trying to run that one back. If Connie can just hit the side. That'll do.
There we go.
Big shot.
All right. Now it's time to do some fast arithmetic. So we've got 1095 after this shot, we hope, for Rock and Rollers. 1095, and they have 75 more to count. So they are looking at 1170. The magic number on the right side is 1171. Connie with another big
nice
shot.
shot for Connie again.
That goes a
Well-
long way towards that number.
Yes. 1137, so 34 to go. You have to like their chances to get to 34 more from here.
Yep.
Now, Matt has thrown exactly the same shot 3 times in a row to miss right, and there's a big difference between 20 and 30. Well, 11:52 now. 19 to go. Hitting the side of the head pin is worth 3 to the Mayhem right here. Oh, Matt found the correction. And unfortunately, Brad already knows that that will not be enough. So that will make it 6-2 for the Mayhem. That is a tough loss for Rock and Rollers. You can't win them all, but you don't want to lose to the people who are nipping at your heels.
So with that head pin, that actually is going to mean Brad's going to steal this. I guess not steal, but he's going to actually have a chance to
outlast 255. So again, another good news, bad news situation. At least that's 5-3 instead of 6-2. Could have been worse.
correct.
And that really does make a big difference when it's against one of your key competitors. 3 feels a lot better than 2.
Yeah, that is true.
And where did we end up there? 23-28. Slightly fewer points than we were expecting.
Then 3,000, yeah.
Yeah.
Give them another 3 or 4 frames, we might get there.
I'm not sure.
We're trying to be optimistic. All right, we'll give Shane a few seconds here just to hop on to chat with us. Oh, there they are.
Well, that was interesting.
That was a lot of things, JB, that was not interesting.
Well, we were saying up in the booth, right, that if it can't be pretty, it needs to at least be 10s, and you certainly delivered on 10s.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a good game really on either team. So when you throw those type of games, we got 3 points. We're kind of happy losing the 3 points there. So it wasn't ideal, but those type of games you're usually losing 7-1, 8-0 when you put those type of scores up. So we'll take the 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's never fun to lose 5-3, and it's especially tough to lose to the people who are in your rearview mirror. John, how was that for you?
That could have been a lot worse. I mean, anyone who took the under is happy with that one. But like Shane said, when you put up numbers that low in this league, 5 is almost unheard of. So we're counting our blessings and hoping to be tenfold better in a couple minutes here.
Any insight into what was going on with you in particular in that match?
Yeah, sometimes they're strikes, sometimes they're not. I don't know, I just throw the ball hard and hope it comes back. Try and keep it simple, and it didn't work out today. Whatever, no big deal.
All right, well, with that, Shane, we'll let you go off and hopefully have a half-decent afternoon. And then, John, we'll see you back again in a couple minutes here. Once we have Alex hop on for our next match against the Rebels.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the week. Good luck, John.
Take care, folks. Well, yes, this will be interesting to see what happens now. How do they bounce back? They saw Rebels put up a big number. They know that 1190 is not going to get them very far, or at least that's their suspicion. So curious to see where we end up.
They've got the example of having seen the Venom shoot not so great the first game and then come out on fire the second game.
Absolutely. It's a good reminder that you just never know from game to game what's going to happen from moment to moment. Just keep firing.
We're just waiting for Alex to appear now. I did send him a message. I don't see him warming up though, so that's a good thing. It's not on the line, interrupting him, but we'll give him a second here and then we'll get started. Actually, we're still ahead of time, so we're good. Oh, commercial first. What am I doing? Sorry, Carrie. Okay, we're running the commercial, then I'll have to come back. There we go.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
Well, in that last match, the two teams averaged 233 collectively, and there's exactly one bowler on those two rosters averaging under 230 in the 5PL this season. So it just gives you an indication how unusual that result was.
Yeah, and fingers crossed that we see the Mayhem come out strong again like the Venom did on their second match after that tough first game loss, and see if we can get closer to that 3,000 mark. That would be great for you, JB, after your prediction going into that match, which was not met, but that's okay. So let's just run through our rosters really quickly. I apologize, I didn't read the other ones, but have the Motor City Mayhem playing against the Rebels this game. So for the Mayhem, we have John, Matt, Nathan, Devin, Jeff, Ian, Linda, Connie, bowling out of Nebs, and then managed by Steve. And then for the Rebels, we have Alex, Eric, Joel, Guillaume, Benoit, Fred, Maude, and Erica, and they're playing at Sadiki Paris. and they're managed by Renee. So with that, we'll introduce our coaches here, bring them back in. All right, back again, Alex. Hopefully you guys had a nice little break. We're able to get some food in you guys, if that's what you want. I don't know. You could have been throwing balls for the past hour or so. And then John, again, we just saw you. How are you guys feeling going into these matches here?
Pretty good.
I'm still feeling very good.
We're just hoping to be a little bit better than what you guys saw about 5 minutes ago. But it's fresh
We have our
start.
fingers crossed.
Fresh start, a little bit of a different look this time around. So hopefully that's the answer that we're looking for.
And do you guys have any changes to your lineup heading into the second game?
Yes. So lineup this game is Connie is leading off, then Davin second, Linda third, Jeff fourth, Matt anchor, myself, and Nathan on the bench, and still no Ian.
Okay, great. And then Alex, what about you guys? Any changes from first go around?
No, we're going to go the same thing as we did the first go around. So it's going to be Erica, Ben, then Eric, Fred, then myself with Joel on the bench.
Great. Awesome. All right. Well, best of luck to you guys. And hopefully we can get to that 3,000 mark. That'd be quite exciting and a great way to end off our morning and afternoon for you guys out east.
Good luck, guys.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, I think the one thing we know for sure is that we have no idea what to expect. Rebels shooting 1480 and losing narrowly. Mayhem shooting 1190 and winning narrowly. Anything can happen here. So really all we're looking for is to see what kind of a start we get off to, see whether the changes for Mayhem in their lineup will just help them feel different. Certainly put a lot of trust in Connie to lead the way. Davin looked pretty comfortable coming in off the bench. So, and of course, a punch right away.
I would say hopefully that's not a sign of what's to come.
Well, and again, the stories we tell ourselves are what gets us into trouble. So we just have to resist the temptation to think, here we go again.
Yeah. It's a new game. Lots of pins still out on the table for them. So.
And I mean, certainly these are all veteran players. Nobody is going to press the panic button after one shot. But at the same time, I mean, again, even at this level, you want somebody near the top of the order to get off to a quick start so that you can just feel more relaxed. And if Erika gets off to the same start that she did in the first match, then there's no reason to believe that the Rebels won't continue to feel just as comfortable they did when they put up their 1480. Punch from Davin. Okay, maybe a little bit of eye rolling, maybe a little bit of ha ha ha, and then we'll just kind of get back to normal. But there's a kernel of truth in there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just get worried over nothing in this game. Benoit with another corner pin. He had, I think, 3 corner pins early in the first match. And so, again, if he just, get those spares in with a double here and a double there, and it's very easy to get to 300. Oh, but a miss there. And not sure what was going on with that trailing leg. Like, he felt like maybe he stuck a little bit, or his timing was a little bit off, and the trailing leg didn't feel like where it was supposed to be. Linda restores order. Congratulations. Oh, and another miss. Okay. Well, if you have to do it there. Jeff never really quite looked like he got terribly comfortable in that first match. So we'll hope that he can settle in here. I don't know. With Steve not actually being there to manage the team right now, I don't know how they are making those decisions, whether John has taken single-handed control or authority over that, or whether it's a little bit more of a decision by committee. But when you're sitting on the bench wondering when you should go in, that can be a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling to someone who's not accustomed to doing that Oh, that's a good sign for the Rebels. Fred already feels that comfortable.
Yeah, they're off to a good start so far. 3 out of 4 strikes.
All right, Matt has finished the adjustment. I know that the finish on that shot maybe wasn't exactly what he wanted, falling out of it, but certainly he had all the balance he needed when the ball left his hand. And that's 2 balls in the left pocket, I believe, when his
Yes.
3 tiny misses were all just the tiniest bit right of the right pocket. So either that's good luck, or it means nothing, or he has found that little adjustment to help get his release coordinated with his slide. That's one thing that's really changed for me over the last year. I sort of accidentally fell into taking a much longer slide. I've gone away from using a heel on my sliding shoe to using a slider for my heel. And consequently, I've had to change the way I stop so that my body actually has to stop me instead of my heel and my trailing leg doing it. But that's made it so much easier to smooth out problems with my timing because I don't have to be nearly as precise in my release. It's a little bit weird delivering the ball while you're still moving. That feeling took quite a while to get used to, but now that I have felt it for the better part of a year, it's like gliding on a cloud. When my arm is coming through and I'm still sliding and I let go of the ball and I'm still sliding, it's an oddly satisfying feeling.
Kind of a little bit more like curling.
Yeah.
Yeah, just need to get out of brooms and you're good to go.
Well, I never quite, I spent just a few months curling, oddly enough, as part of a computer science graduate school team. Was just recreational for fun, and I really never got used to the idea of sliding through after releasing the rock. It would be release the rock, fall over immediately. Release the rock, fall over immediately. Maybe that means it's time for me to try curling again. I might actually be used to the feeling now.
There you go.
Meantime, Rebels off to a strong start, threatening to run away and hide early on Mayhem, who have 3 strikes out of 4. Jeff still not looking quite comfortable, but I think getting closer.
It's starting to make it work for him.
Absolutely. He the way it seems like he kind of slings the ball out at the bottom of his release, I think probably makes him a little bit streakier than he'd like to be. But when it's working, it's fantastic, and it's very, it's not that hard to see him reel off 5 or 6 in a row and just pretend like that first match never happened.
Yeah, and the reality is, even though he was really fighting it for a lot of the game, in the last match, he still shot 241.
Yes. It's hard to think of 241 as mediocre, but, that's the level at which we're competing here.
Well, that's just, on that team, 241 would be lower than any of their averages going into today.
Yes, absolutely. I took a quick look before when I was checking out how many of the Mayhem and Rock and Rollers are actually averaging under 230 so far this season. 241 would certainly put you at the bottom of the Mayhem roster. And it seems inconceivable that Ian McLean is the one at the bottom averaging only, if you can hear the quotation marks, 243 so far this season. Especially with the performance that he put in Timmins, that's unfathomable. And Alex with a little bit of a timing problem there. This is something that, again, he throws the ball so hard and he has such an aggressive approach that he does occasionally get into trouble where he sort of turns his hip and the arm doesn't come through quite as quickly and he'll miss right like that. But just like Jeff, it makes him a little bit streakier, and when the streaks are good, then he's lights out, and it's frightening.
Yeah.
So again, as a reminder to the viewers, the scoring system is adding extra pins, so that's actually 186 on the right side there for Rebels, going through 2 frames and 180 for the Mayhem. So once again, just kind of figuring each other out. I guess we get to have another interesting, tense finish. Let's find out. Power chop for Connie and a miss for Erika. So perhaps we're not going to see the same easy string of strikes for Erika that we saw in her first match. She really got off to a quick start and just
Never really
pushed
looked
that
back.
match easily over the finish line.
Yeah.
Picks up the spare there. So she's down 10, both on a spare through 3 frames.
Oh,
That's tough.
and again, the punch on a single strike, it's that momentum killer.
Yeah.
And again,
Yep.
an opportunity to think like, oh, we're not getting moving. Time to start telling yourself pointless stories that are going to get you in trouble.
So, miss there for Benoit when he had a chance to exert a little bit of control on the match.
It really does look like this is going to be another limp into the commercial break. And, neither team in the last match really came out of the commercial break firing. It didn't seem to make a difference one way or the other.
Yeah.
So it's really just, this is maybe not the kind of tense you're hoping for, but this really is the who's going to be the first to exhale, edge of your seat kind of approach. And Linda couldn't possibly be happier with that result.
Yeah. Cover her eyes and walk away.
Sometimes 3 wrongs make a right.
Yeah.
Another one of those stupid things that makes this game possible, that you can throw great shots and not strike, that you can throw
Very bad
even
shots.
bad shots and strike,
Yeah.
and there's really no way to account for it. And it's dumb, and it's what makes this game possible. Now that
He's a good ball.
that was a ball that makes me feel like Jeff is about to go off.
That just looks smooth and confident.
Absolutely.
This is back-to-back 3 pins on the first ball for Eric. 51 after 3.
And again, Eric, is so relaxed, and he, when he's going well, he's got both pockets open. It's a nice, compact, pretty repeatable delivery. So you don't really expect to see that kind of thing from him at all.
Ooh.
You'd think that when he gets into trouble is when he gets into the good shot is missing and the bad shot's punching.
Yeah.
So I believe that's just the 2 spares. Oh, no.
Ooh.
A cut through on the 3-pin spare shot. Should have gone ball side. Apparently ball side has been making those spares today. Don't be too conventional. So yeah, with those 2 spares up, that's actually
Extra 20.
an extra 20, so 275 right now for the Rebels going into Alex's shot here. We are looking at pretty close to an even match. Probably a 2-ball advantage to Mayhem after 3. Ooh. Power chops are unsurprising with Alex. He does have that upper tier ball speed. That this is one of the things where he can get into trouble. And then he knows he threw a pretty good shot, so he's just going to throw it again. And then pretty soon it's 4 frames without a strike. I mean, if I threw the ball like that, I would have a hard time not feeling confident in it myself. Certainly can't blame him. Unfortunate miss there. With a match the way this is looking, you don't know if those 2 are going to make a difference. It seems strange to worry about those 2 pins after 3 frames in a match like this, but I wouldn't want to throw anything away right now.
No. Yeah, so it's a slight lead for Mayhem, but they've got a lot of extra count potentially
Yes.
this frame.
Yes, this is the first opportunity that Mayhem have had to really pull away. Beautiful shot in the left pocket there from Connie. And
Good
I
answer
got
by
back
Erica.
in the right pocket where she was so comfortable in that first match.
Yeah, she did so much damage there in the game against the Venom.
And it's funny, I was just thinking about it because we don't have a lot of right-handed, right-footed sliding bowlers in this league. And I don't know that I've actually ever seen a lefty slide on their left foot. But all the right-handed, right-sliding players I've seen all throw the ball really straight. I can't even think of anyone who throws a particular backup ball, but I'm thinking back to Greg Peteritis. We've had a couple of youth bowlers here. I guess, we have one youth bowler here who's right-handed and right-footed who throws with a bit of a hook, but everybody else that I've seen, they tend to throw the ball really, really, really straight. I don't know if there's anything about the motion that makes it more difficult to put lateral movement on the ball or just a coincidence. Another miss.
Another 3 pin.
Yeah.
3 for 3.
Looks like there could be a potential sub here.
Yeah.
Oh, Joel is in. Yep. Oh, and an unfortunate pop on that head pin on the second ball. Well, that answers the question whether they're going to pull away. The answer is not necessarily. I think this next shot from Jeff will give us a good picture of whether he feels a little bit more relaxed. Matt seems to have successfully adjusted back to find the head pin. So now it's just a question of whether he can find the side. Oh yeah. I mean, good news, bad news. That's certainly the timing looked much better there. It's just unfortunate he hit the 3 centimeters that don't work. Well, I think we've got our answer. Nobody's gonna run away with this one. I think this is gonna be yet another slugfest. It's just a question of whether anyone's going to get to 1250.
Okay,
and again, the way things are going right now, I'm not sure I like their chances. It'll be the Rebels' turn here in the 5th to decide whether they're going to be able to run away with this one.
Yeah, because now they've got four strikes up there. Again, reality, their score is 383 right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If Matt's in that left pocket now, watch out. That seems to be his natural shot where his good shots are in the left pocket and his slight laydowns are in the right, and then he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Hard to think of this as a turning point already, but I think this is going to tell us what we've got, and especially if you know that you can run away and hide and fail to do it going into the break. Again, what kinds of stories are they going to be telling themselves, and are they going to get themselves into mental trouble?
That's just it. It's a long 3 minutes to think.
Push.
Absolutely. Oh. Not a shot you can quibble with. A tiny, tiny bit light, but that corner pin could easily have gone. And it's going to be up to the two marks here to on the Mayhem side to put something on top and give them a feeling of momentum going into the break. All right. Didn't want to miss that one on the outside. Nearly missed it on the inside. Davin can really help his team breathe a little bit with at least a big count here. That's not what he was hoping for.
No.
Wow.
18 count. And now suddenly the Mayhem only have that double count left to go this frame.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, good news. Matt looks pretty good to make good on that count, but just like we saw with the Venom, you don't want to be relying on one or two people. It's especially right now. It looks like the Rebels are giving you a chance to take advantage of a bit of a struggle. I mean, it's one thing to be beat 15-30 to 14-80. It's another thing to have a score, beatable score thrown at you and not do it, as we just saw.
Oh, not quite.
Benoit suddenly looking just a little tentative. I know, especially when you do throw with that little bit of extra rotation and movement, you can be really susceptible to not quite finishing the shot, and all of a sudden, minute changes are big differences at the pin deck.
Yeah, because it can either hang out there and not move at all, or it just really takes off.
Yes. Well, a couple of spares are better than no spares, so now Jeff and Matt can give the Mayhem some good feelings going into the break. There you go.
Good shot for Jeff.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff does look right now like he could break out. If he can stay out of the head pin trouble, then I like his chances to have a strong second half. Matt looks like he's fully adjusted. Linda looks steady. I think no matter what happens here with these two shots, I'm going to say advantage Mayhem going into the break.
Yep.
Maybe not by much, but perhaps by just enough.
Yeah, and we'll see how they come back out in the second half of this game here. As you say, JB, it's a number of them now look like they've found sort of themselves again, and they're back on the middle and making sure they're carrying everything and not just punching. So hopefully it's exciting and interesting, but not tense in the second half.
Yes, I'm curious to see whether John is how close John is to making a move in the number 2 spot. I mean, Davin's just a little bit off, not by much.
Ooh.
This is one situation where having the break can really be helpful.
Yeah.
Because there's every good reason to at least give it one more full frame before you make any changes.
Yeah.
It's as though the break itself can almost act like a lineup change. All right, and now we're looking at, oh, wow. So that's 516 on the right-hand side to 542. Too early to tell.
Yeah.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
All right. Once again, we get to answer the question, who enjoyed the break more? So there's some warming up going on the right-hand side for Rebels. When will John Cowan put himself in the lineup? We'll find out. We got to think it's coming. And while we're starting the sixth frame, I was just taking a look at the 5PL individual player leaderboard, and we have, coming into today's action, Justin Landrock was the lone player with 9 match wins so far this season. There's a very nice shot from Connie in the left pocket. Robert Tompkins and Jeremy Harasimchuk with 8, and then a bit of a log jam at 7 points. And of course, there's lots of really big scores out there, but one of the interesting bits, not that you want to necessarily shine a light at this part of the leaderboard, but unusual to see some of the high scores among the players who haven't managed to win a match point yet this season.
Yep.
And yes, there are a couple of people with pretty small samples. But somehow Eric Chose has managed to not win a match point coming into today, in spite of averaging 249 in 3.5 games. It really does just come down to right place, right time. We don't know how many times he came off the bench in a match he couldn't win.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly you got to think that even averaging 249 at this league, you got to win a point by accident. Just goes to show the level of competition in the 5PL. Unfortunately, no Ontario bowlers among the top point getters so far. I don't know how much of that is how many matches they've played, and how much of that is, again, just wrong place, wrong time. Oh, Jeff with another. So again, just sort of using the edge. That's about the edge of his margin for error.
Yeah.
Near miss left, but still a good shot. And as long as his timing stays together a little better than that, I really do think he's got a good chance to take a stranglehold of this match, even though Fred is already starting to warm up. Oh, that was not close. That's tough. It's tough to do that when your team has just thrown 5 strikes in a row. They come out of the break hot. No one wants to be that guy. But, that's one of the things that I learned especially from growing up in Southern Ontario. They've been training each other for decades to just keep saying, pick me up. It's even funny to see in a singles cash tournament, to hear some of the Southern Ontario bowlers come back and say, pick me up, I think is absolutely hilarious. It's wonderful to see that echo from the bowling culture down there, that even when they're bowling from themselves, they feel like the people around them are there to support them, even when they're competitors. 4 strikes for Mayhem coming out of the break, trying to make a statement. It seems they've made it. Rebels with 3 spares on 3 misses. And so we'll see. Could this be the tide turning that we've been waiting for a match and a half now? So both fourth matches coming to a bit of a screeching halt there, but very close, within a ball of each other going into 7. And doesn't look like there's any match that's quite running away yet. Alex might feel a little bit of pressure to strike here so that Matt doesn't run away and hide on him. That's the only one that's a bit in trouble. Another power chop in the left pocket. Oh. And again, I mean, that feels like a head pin in terms of just being, that you're 2 millimeters away from a strike.
Yeah. Okay, he covers
Big
that.
spare there.
Spare, but when it's
So
4
yeah, that
strikes
fifth
to 4
spot.
spares.
That fifth spot is the only match where one
Yeah.
side is threatening to run away and hide.
Yeah, but I mean, still 4 marks on both sides. Just the Mayhem have those 4 strikes, and the Rebels have the 4 spares. But again, as you say, JB, it's only sort of that bottom match that's really starting to put some distance between the two of them. So
we've got 612 for the Rebels right now, 690 for Mayhem with a double counting. This is their chance to move ahead. Good right pocket hit from Connie, just a slight lazy 3-pin.
oh,
Did not love that shot coming out of her hand, and then she saw where it was going. That was a very nice break for her. I know she's been more comfortable in the right pocket, so if she gets that shot in the left, that's good for her. We've lost the Mayhem's lane camera a little bit. So we'll just have to rely on the scoreboard for now. Connie with the left corner spare. I assume that was right through the middle of the corner pin. That's what I would expect.
Out of her hand, it looked like it was going to be right on line.
yeah.
And Davin with a nice relaxed shot there. Just a tiniest miss to the right.
Mhm.
You hardly fault him for that. And yeah, it really does look like now Mayhem are threatening to make good on these. Oh, there we go.
Oh, not
want-
not quite a child running through, but
Who wants the dinosaur? Anybody want to use the dinosaur? Oh, use every part of the pin,
run
Davin.
away from that.
Right off
Use
the lane.
every part of the pin. Next time, ask Connie to get that for you. Yeah, Mayhem are now looking in a position to maybe not run away, but certainly power walk away. Put a bit of a stranglehold on this match. This could be the, win, pick up 15 here, 20 there, and all of a sudden you're ahead by 100 and you don't know what happened.
Yeah. Matching splits on both sides.
Oh, yes, and there's definite advantage to the Rebels on those. Those pins have definitely been bouncing a lot more on the right side than on the left.
Yeah.
So Linda misses the side on the second ball of the strike count, so
Yes, that is not
uncharacteristic.
Not
ideal.
ideal.
Suboptimal, you could say.
Yep. Oh, all right. Not the 2 most confident shots you could throw, but not much damage. Certainly that third match is nowhere near out of reach, but anytime you can be up by more than 45, that always feels like a much more comfortable position to be in. Linda up 46 now through 7. And if Jeff can stay in a pocket, there you go. Throw a little shoulder at it.
Good shot. Some matching strikes in 7 in the 4 spot.
Yeah. Mayhem really are threatening to, as I said, at least walk briskly away with it.
We're race walking, not bowling at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
If Matt can stay in that left pocket, then it's really going to give the Rebels something to think about here.
Yeah.
Right pocket also works. Good to see Jeff Forster get a get a chance to enjoy his few seconds on screen. So yes, this is one of those now very interesting matches. We need to take a look at the individual ones to see if we have a shot at something like 5-3. The third match has a difference of more than 45. Otherwise, they're all within a ball. That fifth match is looking to be over awfully early already. Matt's magic number is 259, and he's almost there.
Ooh.
Matt is literally one ball away from having the first match sewn up.
Yeah,
Erika with another good left pocket hit, a bit of a sweeper. So she's looking a little bit more comfortable, or at least getting away with being not quite on.
Yeah.
And that's a nice thing when you're throwing as well as she's thrown today. Even when you're off by so little that you can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
We've all had the experience of winning matches like that maybe you felt like you didn't bowl that well, but it just was enough.
Yeah.
And so now, quickly, that first match is starting to look in doubt. Erika's magic number now is 266. She's well on her way. Doesn't need more than maybe something sparable in 9 to give her the breathing room she needs. And Rebels are all of a sudden fighting back. Oh, that's a big confident shot from Davin right there. It seemed like he had been trying a little too hard to relax and become a little bit tentative. That ball really looked like he just slid smoothly through the whole shot. Oh, an unfortunate, punch for Linda.
So this now gives Joelle a chance to narrow that gap somewhat.
Absolutely. A strike here breathes life into a match that seemed
to be long over.
Seemed possibly over. There it is.
There we have it. Yeah.
That's a big momentum swing right there. I mean, it's early. We could be looking at 4-4 right here.
There are certainly a lot of possibilities here now.
Oh, beautiful shot from.
Knew that right away.
From Fred right there. Yeah, it's strange to see Eric's struggles here again today. You know, he's coming into today. He was averaging only 224 in his relatively limited playing time. That's certainly not the kind of results you're expecting from him. Again, hard to know what could account for that. Just a random chance, or this is just that could be trying too hard, trying not to try too hard. Who knows? I just know, having watched him so much up close and personal, that the idea that he could be averaging 224 anywhere just doesn't seem possible. And like it was nothing, the Rebels have closed the gap and put themselves in a really good position to drive past the Mayhem here in 9. A lot's going to depend on Matt's next shot.
Ooh.
And that was not a spare. And on a single strike, that is very painful. So now all of a sudden, Fred Martel is looking really good for that fourth match. Erika already has a big advantage in the first spot. So stay tuned, folks.
Yep, second match is up for grabs, and now the third match has kind of gotten interesting again.
Exactly.
And because of that, total's now starting to get perhaps a little interesting again.
Yes, keep in mind that even a spare in 9 for Joel means he's only down by 1.
Mm-hmm.
Matt back in the left pocket.
Hey.
That's a statement shot right there.
That gives the Mayhem a little bit of breathing room for total, but they're still not out of the woods just yet.
And so now we're looking at 827. Yeah, 827 for Rebels, 964 for Mayhem. That looks a lot more lopsided than it is.
Yeah, with those two doubles, especially working on the
Yes. And
rebel
there's
side and those 4 strikes.
yet one more punch.
Oof.
Now Erika can really drive a truck through that lead. Get there. Yeah.
And she does it. Yeah.
Picks up 30 more.
Okay.
33
Very
more.
interesting now. Jeez.
36 more. That's a huge swing to go to outscore your opponent 45-9 like that. That just turns the whole match on a dime. One more of those in the 4th spot, and it can get really, really interesting. If you can pick up another 30 in that 4th spot on the double. Oh.
Just barely. Again.
Oh, another confident shot from Davin, and he got away with one. That's pretty good when you can almost miss the middle.
Out of his hand,
And
I
leave
thought
a
he was
corner
going to
pin.
miss right there.
Yeah, I thought he was gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little bit too relaxed, a little bit too aggressive. Such a fine line in this game, but an easy corner pin for Davin.
Yeah. Huge ball there for him. Yeah.
So now at 1,003 for Mayhem and 897 for Rebels. These next 3 frames are going to be the difference, I think.
Yeah, for sure. This is where they can start to do some damage.
Linda with a nice sweeper there. A little bit light in the pocket, but got just enough. Oh, nice break. As we said, a spare.
Is still, yeah.
Spare
would
Not
still
too
give him
bad.
some hope.
Yes.
Yeah, you never know.
And another really nice shot from Jeff right there. It's just a pity that he hasn't put them together. Again, that timing off by just the slightest amount and missing that corner pin spare in 6 has made such a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't fault him for getting tapped on the spare shot in 8, but that's just that the timing off by the slightest amount. And there is the 4th miss right, and the worst one I think we've seen today in the last 13 or 14 frames from Matt.
Yeah, unfortunately, that one wasn't even close, to be honest.
And Fred is reminding everyone he's still here. Fortunately, couldn't find the left pocket on that shot. The door's slightly ajar now. So we are 975 for the Rebels right now, plus, or I guess 960. Plus Alex, possibly 30 more right here. No.
That was a good shot.
Just a tiny bit light on the left side. You know, the ball speed gives and the ball speed takes away. Well, so Matt has sewn up the 5th spot, 1-0 for the Mayhem, and the rest is in doubt. The 3rd match is the next most likely to fall. That's a big spare right there.
Yeah.
Breathe some hope. So now, again, that's 2 strikes and 2 spares for Rebels, so that's 50, so 990. I believe that's 990 or 998. I can't tell if that last digit's a 0 or an 8.
I think it's 990.
990. So a difference of 74 going into 10. It's really simple. Doubles.
Yeah.
And especially on those spares. Oh,
that was uncharacteristic.
best that came on the open frame, but still.
Yeah.
So that first match is decided. Right pocket? No. Oh, that's devastating. Right there for Rebels. That really, they needed that to close the gap. If they had been able to close the gap by another 50 in that 10th frame, that would have virtually erased all the deficit they were dealing with. That's such a difficult feeling to throw that ball in 10, to know that you've let your team down, even though no reasonable person would think you've let your team down with the performance that you'd put into that point, but you can't help but feel it. I was in the position to get another 50 back and I didn't do it. And it's totally unfair, but that's what brains do. That's a better shot and a big count right there. All right, so now we are looking at 10-20 for the Rebels. Ben got that one way out there. That's the confident shot. We've been wondering where it was. I was wondering when we were really going to see him try to throw the ball out there a little more.
Yeah,
and not letting that near miss phase him at all. Yeah, that shot in 10 was pretty much the same as his strike shot in 8.
That's
a really
solid
answer. Like he's driving to the line.
17 point length. That 17 is so important.
Absolutely.
The difference.
And Ben getting the ball out again this time. Oh, just a little high on the left pocket for the power chop. All right. Well, that's another win. That's another one decided. So 1-1. $10 more big for Mayhem to not give the Rebels too much of an idea of driving this one across the finish line. Unfortunately, it's going to fall to Fred to make sure that he makes a big count on that first shot in 10.
Yeah.
At this point, if the Rebels are going to come back and take this total, it's going to be Fred to do it. All right. 2-1. Oh, no.
That was
Holy.
Looked like a good shot. Very unfortunate to leave the corner.
Yeah, I think that puts the last nail in the coffin. If it didn't, then that shot certainly did.
Yeah.
Linda making sure that Mayhem are not going to give this team total away to the Rebels. And again, when you look at that score sheet, I mean, it's not bad. It's just unfortunate that it took until 9 and 10 to string any kind of big counts together.
Oh, it doesn't quite.
But that's a wonderful finish.
That's a great finish for Linda.
Absolutely. Great contribution to the team. And now we are looking at 11:57 right now for Rebels.
Oh.
Can't afford to give anything away now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, punch in 10, I don't think is going to give it away. We're about to find out, but I don't think so. So we're looking at, oh,
yeah,
there it is.
That's unfortunate.
All right, now I believe it's decided. Mayhem 6, Rebels 2.
This is all done and dusted now for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's now the other side of the coin, really. I mean, if you're Mayhem, you got to think that. I don't know how we got 6 out of all that. I mean, 2 for sure, 5 maybe. But you really do have to feel like you got away with 1 here.
Yeah.
Well, and especially given the match before too, like they've gotten 11 points for. They're not going to get 2,500 for.
Right.
2 games. They're going to get 11 points.
Yeah, you can't complain about that.
In any championship season, you're going to have a lull like that where you get away with it. That's the difference between the champions and the 4th place team.
Yeah. And that's going to get them with these 6 points. That's going to get them up to 600 exactly win percentage or point percentage.
Right, and we know that is top 5.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it wouldn't have been that kind of a day without one more miss right for Matt. I think I've never seen him miss this much. And all things considered, he didn't pick the worst time to do it. Again, just a testament to his consistency that missing the middle 5 times to the right in 2 games is noteworthy.
Yeah.
So 1260 and
1150.
Oh my, that's just, yeah. That is something else.
Certainly tense, but yeah, it's sort of interesting to see sort of where the standings are, what they're sort of looking like now, right? With those sort of games done and dusted today.
With today's games, the Rock and Rollers are 54.5 points, 681%. So they haven't really changed their percentage that much. Mayhem are now up to 600. The Rebels are going to fall down to 516 point percentage. So they've certainly not helped their cause for the playoffs. Yeah. And the Venom basically held their own. They're at 468 now in the live standings.
Yeah, and then we have the Rock and Rollers, and Mayhem only have those 2 games left for the rest of the season. Then Venom and Rebels have another 4 matches to go. So be interesting to see how things shake out. And then, as we were saying earlier, just about when do teams play each other, and when in the season are they playing versus not playing. So that'll be interesting to see. Hi again, guys. Interesting to say the least.
Yeah, that was a little bit tougher this time. Alex, any fancy insight into the difference between the first match and the second one?
Obviously, well, as an overall team, we missed the center a lot. Big time misses. First 5 frames were pretty awful. Myself, I just picked a lot. So every 2 frames to pick, doesn't matter what you do in between, it's going to end up what it's going to end up. Then again, tough game. They played better than us in the end, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we're going to move on. Still 4 big games to play. Everything's still there for us, so.
Sure. And then what about you guys, John?
Doesn't always have to be pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying that before. You at least got less score.
Doesn't matter. 1260, 1620, we got 6.
Yeah. No, you got to feel like you really got away with that one. How close were you, John, to going in there at some point in that match?
Not a chance.
Okay. That's pretty much what I figured.
No, we kind of had like 3 or 4 people going all the way through and just never strung anything to get the total up where it could have been.
Yes, that was definitely one of those matches where it seemed like you bowled better than you scored by a fair margin, and then you look up and how are we not ahead?
Yeah. It just didn't seem like it was something that even needed to be a thought.
Yeah.
And then any final thoughts, sort of looking ahead to the matches coming up? The next few weeks of the season.
Nope. I'll get over here.
That's great. All right. Well, thanks again, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good day. Awesome.
Again, entertaining is always questionable, but tense was certain. And that's sometimes how it goes. You're not all going to be 1530 to 1480. No. At least we didn't have to deal with a truly boring blowout. There was always something really nice to watch. Some really good individual performances. Yeah. Lots of tension, lots of drama. That's exactly the way we like it here.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. Awesome. All right. Well, let you guys get on with the rest of your day, and we'll look forward to some more great bowling next weekend.
All right.
Sounds good. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks very much, folks. Take care.
See ya.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.
Cargill is proud to be supporting a truly Canadian sport like 5-pin bowling. We look forward to watching some great competition from many competitors and bowling centres across our country. With hundreds of locations across Canada, Cargill is committed to helping the Canadian farmer thrive. Whether it is selling commodities, getting agronomic advice, fertilizer needs, crop protection, and marketing expertise, Cargill is here to help. So please enjoy this bowling. Thank you.
Financial freedom begins with financial literacy.
Hi, I'm Dave, and I'm thrilled to be a sponsor. My journey began as a teacher because of my deep passion for education. I brought that same passion into the financial world to help families achieve financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just about having more, it's about knowing more. That's why I'm here to help you make smart decisions with insurance, investing, and lending, all in one place. I'm Dave, and together we'll help you achieve financial freedom.